And we are live, everyone.
We are live.
Hello, hello.
Ahoy, hoy.
I'm sitting in a seat I normally don't sit in.
We got Elena in the throne chair.
I was like, that brought it
Elena's
very
on the throne. That
on the throne. I think
was last week.
I'm really glad that our audio listeners don't get the pre-show. So, I think out of context, that would sound very different. We've all done a good job here in the office. Nathan, hi Nathan.
Hello.
It's been a long time.
It has been so long, Elena.
Just to let you know, there's a thing where, was it you or was it Adam who normally forgets to mute the podcast
One
when
of
it
us
goes live?
every week.
Yeah. And so far, I'm not hearing anything. So
I
maybe
caught it.
your
Good.
presence is making everything work.
I caught it just in the nick. I was doing it as Willis was counting down. I was like, oh God, I didn't mute.
And I'm about to launch it, so.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, Nathan's gone. No, I was just kidding.
No,
you're fine.
Don't scare him. Yeah.
So for folks who don't know, Nathan is the bridge between our two eras at Maximum PC.
That's true.
Yeah, because I was there from
true.
2000 until 2010. Started 2010. Nathan was there for, it seems like the last 5 years I was at Maximum PC, basically, maybe 4? 2006
I was there from
ish.
I started as Butters the intern in 2007.
That was your title.
That was my title.
Yeah.
Did you have a plaque
Butters
at your desk with that?
No, we didn't give interns plaques. Are you kidding? They were temporary and expendable.
You know what, though? That was ungenerous of you because
No, it was.
at official Xbox magazine, you know how our cubes had the little rounded edges to our desks?
Yeah.
We will at least give the interns a spot at the edge of one of our desks.
Oh, you made him squat on the corner of your desk?
You know, sometimes we didn't have enough
whole
room.
desk.
Yeah, we gave him a full desk. He even got a bench.
You know, in my era, we were much more compressed than yours.
Well, that's true. But so the thing Gordon said about interns, though, was that
no.
like,
Here
if
we
we
go.
needed somebody, he would watch a movie like Das Boot, which has a couple of scenes where they're like, well, we got to pick somebody to go into the part of the ship to fix something real quick as they're expiring. And that was intern work in Gordon's eyes. Like you if we had to send somebody into the lab as like the Halon system was coming down, we didn't have a Halon system.
Wait, so you redshirted them?
Yeah, red shirts.
Oh, no.
Yeah. He survived. Like we had 2 or 3 make it out of there alive. The rest of them we don't talk about. Hi, Nathan. It's good to have you here.
Hi, it's great to be here, Will. As you were saying, so I was at Max PC till 2012. Elena, you were at Xbox. I think you joined Maximum PC after I left, but you were at Xbox while I was
at official Xbox magazine, the magazine we don't really discuss on this show because, dirty consoles. Yeah, Gordon and I had longstanding beef over this.
of course.
But we became friends because we were neighbors and you rescued my car key.
That's right.
I don't know if you remember.
That was a pre-dad move. I do.
Yeah.
I had the long telescoping. I think I still have that. Oh, do you know what else I have? Actually, speaking of OXM, give me 1 second.
Oh, we're getting show and tell.
Oh, this is perfect because the rest of the show is mostly audio listeners and only a few people on YouTube.
This.
Oh, that's
This.
Wow.
Xbox 360 controller, bringing it back.
Property. Oh no! Oh no! Is this property of OXM? Theft. Wow.
Well, maybe nobody on this show works for Future, and it's fine. We won't get sued for return of property.
I'm sorry. For what? Whose property is this?
Yeah, OXM
Official
doesn't exist
Xbox
anymore.
magazine.
Look, Fran will
This is
come after
salvage
you, man.
rights. I found this on a galleon off of the coast of Florida.
Look, you're just fulfilling the long-standing Gordon Mong tradition of looting your fallen coworkers' desks.
Oh,
the
that's
moment they
so
leave.
true. He did.
Yeah, because like the moment
he really did.
The moment somebody said, "Oh, hey, did you hear so and so is leaving?" He'd grab a box and be gone. And it was like a 3 or 4 wave process too, because it would be like. First, he'd do a couple of drive-bys just to kind of scope out the situation and identify the key components that he was going to look for. And then, like, as they were boxing up and stuff, he'd be like, oh, hey, I really enjoyed working with you. And everybody would be like, Gordon, we know what's up. You're here to loot. I'm still packing my box. Like, when I was leaving, I was like, man, I haven't even packed my desk at all yet. You got to come back in like 2 hours, okay? There's too much crap here. And then after the person was gone for like the day or two, after the IT people had been through and taken all the IT stuff,
Another sweep.
He would do another sweep through and get like deep into the drawers, make sure there's nothing good like at the bottom of the filing cabinet under the hanging files.
Sometimes there's individual salt packets that people would hoard, and those are really useful.
Yeah. Yeah, or like if somebody had a really good fast food sauce stash, that's gold.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hilariously, though, I will say that when I left, I guess because he was my boss at the time, he actually gave me a farewell gift.
Oh, really?
Maybe it's because he knew that all the contents of my desk automatically became his.
You might have been the only person that ever worked at Future that Gordon really liked, is the other possibility. No.
He gave me this flashlight.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
No, see, that's the exact parting gift I got, too.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
He had a tradition.
Yeah, he had a tradition.
I just gave him a hug when I left.
Maybe that's why he leave it at your desk.
I sent him a text the next day at Friday. Friday was my last day. I sent him a text on Monday. I was like, hey, I left something for you in the bottom drawer underneath the hanging filing cabinets, because he always said that's where the good stuff was, because stuff falls down there you don't even know. And I left him a treat.
Amazing.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
podcast. Adam's on vacation.
Adam's on vacation.
Well-deserved vacation.
Yeah.
Brad is also out
Yeah.
today. So the inmates are running the asylum.
Yeah.
And we have a friend from the old days with us. So I didn't do a proper introduction. This is Nathan Edwards, currently of The Verge, formerly of Wirecutter, and also formerly of Maximum PC, which Will did mention, but we're just going to go for the full timeline here.
Yeah.
And the way Nathan and I know each other is because I used to work for a different magazine that was literally neighbors with Maximum PC. So we shared a cube wall. And so the one side were all the PC folk with the very cool builds. And then there was us, the console folk.
Oh, wait. Was that upstairs? Was that on the 4th floor?
Were we on the 4th floor at that time or 3rd? I don't remember anymore.
We were on the 4th floor because the 3rd floor we had more space between us. There was a buffer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like there was a wall of offices
Yeah.
and
When
the
they moved
closet
us-
That's
was
right, when
like
they
Rock
squished
Band.
us all on the 4th floor. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Because we used to have your space, we actually used to all have on the 3rd floor as OXM. Like we were right underneath you, I think, in the old days.
No, we were right next door. It
Oh,
was
were you?
Yeah.
It was like,
but there was buffer.
yeah, OXM was in a corner, and then there was a bank of like 6 conference room and a couple of
Oh,
offices.
okay. So this is when you.
That's
This is
when I was
before
there
how I
100
remember
years
you
ago.
all, because
Yeah.
I was like after. Yeah. But yeah, he rescued my card key from a storm drain.
That's really nice.
Yeah, because I was like, damn, I lost it. It's down the drain. I can see it. It's not a deep drain.
It's like your first day, not your first day.
No, it was like a couple. That was when we had the group workouts and we were all out there, and I had my key card with me, and it fell off. I don't remember
We
how.
had group workouts? I don't think I exercised in those days.
Yeah, we did. It was weird.
Workouts, really?
Yeah, someone had organized it on the sales team. That
wow.
like she brought her personal trainer to do group training for all of us.
That's a very sales team thing to do.
It really
Yeah.
was.
We had yoga. And some people made it clear that if you went and did yoga, it was going to be deleterious to your career.
Well, I will say the only reason I did it was because Fran was doing it, and I was like, well, if my boss is doing
yeah.
it, I'm in the clear. I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine.
Love Fran.
But lost my key
Fran's
card,
amazing.
and I was like, who in this building would have a telescoping magnet?
Let's go find the nerds.
I bet
find the
Maximum
nerds.
PC does.
Yeah.
And so like I went over, and I'm actually kind of a shy person, so I picked the person who looked least likely to run me off as console person, and that happened to be Nathan. And he happened to have a telescoping magnet, so it all worked out.
Look,
Nice.
I'm a friend to all.
the things that people would bring to us and be like, hey, can you fix this? And somebody would take it on. Like it was like somebody would roll in with like a 10-year-old computer and be like, hey, this isn't working. Can you help? You'd be like, yeah, sure. Okay,
So you
come
all
on."
were just used to rescuing the rest of us.
Yeah, it's just what we did.
Amazing.
But yeah, it's great to have you here, Nathan. It's good to see you, man.
It's great to be here. This is actually, you skipped. I had a column at tested.com for 2 years.
Oh, that's true.
Did you know that? Did you know that, Will?
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, I knew that. We had a long history of hiring friends and excellent writers to write about things at Tested. Unfortunately, all the Tested columns are gone. All the writing from Tested is no more. It's
What
just video
happened?
now. They stopped.
Just like my maximum
paying for
PC
hosting.
output.
Oh yeah. When the website got nuked, so did a lot of our bylines.
Yeah, it's all on archive.org. A lot of it's still there,
Yeah.
but it's hard to find. These
Bless
days.
them.
Yeah, thanks, Archive. But yeah, how are the hamsters looking, Willis?
Hamsters are running. People are asking there are snacks on the table.
There are snacks on the table.
I picked them up from Daiso. So Elena, if you can,
We didn't bring
have
enough
these-
for you, Nathan.
We have
Unfortunately,
this
I'm sorry.
Calabi
I thought
takoyaki
yeah.
ball snack. I will also show this to you,
Ooh.
Nathan, so you can get a good look.
Can you? The description on the back is really good.
I was
It says, "Let your taste buds."
Take a trip through the street food stalls in Japan with our takoyaki ball.
Yeah.
Each bite has the same savory and sweet flavor as takoyaki, but with an airy, light, crispy texture.
And no octopi are harmed in the making of the stack. They have a friendly octopus.
That's good.
On the back.
Just all artificial flavors.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Just all artificial flavors. Yeah.
Octopus flavored snacks.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
Japanese style barbecue sauce flavored corn puffs. Just in case you weren't sure what this could possibly be.
So I don't eat octopus really anymore, but I miss takoyaki a lot because that was the bomb on the
I don't have
in the
anything
old
to hold
days.
this up.
Yeah, they're too smart to eat. I feel bad about it, but they are tasty.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but they're also mollusks, so it's probably fine.
So we have
How do you figure?
Koala's March. Why is it called Koala's March? They
It's
are
made of real koala.
Yeah.
No,
They grind up a
We
koala.
don't eat koalas are not too smart to eat. They're very stupid animals, and they deserve to die.
Also
Wow.
lousy
You
with
just-
chlamydia, it turns out.
wow.
okay. That you know what? Will
Can't
found
get
the
to
loophole.
clinic, Will. They can't get to the clinic.
What? I mean, I'm just saying it's a known problem that all koalas in Australia lousy with chlamydia. Australian listeners will
They
know what I'm
find
talking
that
about.
out. Who's the
I assume they do a
person?
test.
They
STD
did
test.
They did some swabbing apparently.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to, sir, we're gonna have to swab that koala.
Yeah. Look, hey, you're gonna have to come back for another shot
know
in
what,
10
though?
days, buddy.
I normally would be able to participate in pot shots at koalas, but after seeing the fires of them, or sorry, the pictures of them
Oh,
after the
no.
fires,
Oh, bummers.
like when they were just like so freaking traumatized, like you can see it in their little faces. I'm like, I can't make fun of them. Those poor things. They lived through some stuff. Will,
Look, they could have just seen something shiny that they'd never seen before.
they were singed. Will,
Have you ever seen the ones at the zoo that just don't ever do anything?
they're not. Those were not part of the
They're in
fire.
I
prison.
understand.
Will,
Not yet.
Will, those animals are in prison.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
catatonically bored.
but so I went to a night event at the zoo because they're nocturnal. I was like, maybe we're going to see some live koala action here. And they were still lazy. They
I thought
were
we were trying for a sponsorship. Who was it this year?
Adam wants to get Liquid Death. I'm
that's
pushing for
adult, no.
Polar.
Maybe that's adult, no.
I take the takoyaki. Can we crack open the takoyaki balls?
Yes,
Yeah, you can.
please go for it.
Yeah,
I will describe
Just for
these
the pre-show.
koala marches. Artificially flavored mango cream filled cookies.
That sounds good as hell.
I like a mango cream.
And then finally, we have these crunchy ramen snacks. They are wasabi.
I'll try to send some over to you, Nathan, or
They
maybe
look like-
your local Asian supermarket may carry some as well.
They look like bugles that never got rolled.
Oh yeah, okay, I can see that.
yeah.
Yeah, they
Unrolled
look like wavy.
bugles.
Yeah, they're
bugles.
like
The takoyaki balls are like a fish flavored Cheeto. They're
Dry ramen
delicious. They're like a Cheeto puff. They're very good. I'll give the audio listeners a little ASMR crunch there.
taste.
There you go. All right. Well, maybe I
Yep.
can open my snacks too. I don't have anything quite as interesting. I have two different bars.
Ooh,
I have a cookies and cream Bear Bell. It's more of
Okay.
a protein bar.
Hey,
And I have the classic Cliff Bar.
oh yeah, crunchy peanut butter. That's the
Yeah.
You know,
the banger Cliff Bar flavor.
I gotta say, I gotta say, I understand the business decisions and all, but I am sad that Cliff Bars went down in flavor options. Like they used to have
So
at least 3 more, and now it's just I think the peanut butter and the
like macadamia?
chocolate chip, and I think the mint chocolate,
Oh,
and like those are the only 3 I see now.
not a fan.
I miss the brownie.
They don't
Yeah,
like.
They have the brownie.
They do. I haven't seen them lately.
they had
They got it in
macadamia white
Texas.
chocolate before.
They're shipping them all to Texas.
Oh, maybe that's what it
I'm
is.
eating them all personally.
Well, there we go.
All right, well, hamsters are still running. Are we good to go? We forgot.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. I was like, we forgot we need to go on to the main show.
Do we?
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Do we?
We should make a podcast.
We should make a
yeah.
podcast.
We should-
Adam's yelling at
yeah.
us right now.
But for old time's sake, why don't we have a first take from Nathan?
Yeah, Nathan.
And then I will do my official take. Just for old time's
Good.
sake.
Just for old time's sake. See how it goes. You're listening to the PC World Full Nerd Podcast. This is Nathan Edwards, and this I screwed it up. No, terrible take.
Take
Traditional.
Take 2.
It's actually our tradition.
up.
Gordon used to do that all
Okay.
the time.
All right,
Old 3-take Gordon.
3-take Gordon. How do I start?
I thought it was going to be your throwback one. Then I was going to do
it. Was, but I forgot how the throwback
You
started.
nailed it before the show was
You nailed it before the show.
Damn, I did it. All right. So,
Try it again.
Okay.
Try it again.
All right.
No pressure. Nobody's watching you. Nobody's here.
Nobody's here. It's just us. Welcome to the Maximum PC No BS podcast for the week of July 29th, 2025. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun. So we used the music for like 3 weeks.
I know,
we did actually. We did
Oh.
because we couldn't use ours because of licensing. We were figuring it out.
Yeah. And then Elena.
All right. In this episode of The Full Nerd, we talk about malware in Steam games, building the best keyboard, and your questions answered.
And now we'll have this music.
Hello, everybody. I am your fill-in for your fill-in host, Elena, with The Full Nerd episode 358. Today, I am joined by 2 very special people. First, we have special guest, Nathan Edwards of The Verge.
Hi, Elena.
Hi, so good to see you. It's like literally been a decade since I've talked to this guy in real time.
It's been a decade.
Yeah. And as always, I've got Will Smith here with me.
Hello. Hello.
Wow, you have way more energy than I do today.
Look, I just finished my coffee a second ago.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're caffeinated, I'm not.
I'm just going to keep talking faster and faster and faster. And then pretty soon, this is the second podcast I've recorded today, though. I got up early and did one.
How?
I'm just full of stuff.
What are time zones, huh?
But sometimes I have to talk to people on the East Coast, you know? Yeah, I know, it's gross. But yeah, hi, thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
I think it's funny that like you thank us, and it's like we want to thank you for being here.
Well, look, the rules on this are all vague. In the old days,
thank you both.
Yeah. In the old days, you'd sit down on Johnny Carson's couch. He'd be like, hey, it's really great to have you here. To be like, oh, thanks for having me. But now I don't know, like when I'm always here, I don't know what the rules are.
I was like, oh, it's you again.
Yeah.
Hi.
Well, thank you both for having me here. This is my first time.
Yeah.
Long-time listener,
We're so
full-time-
excited.
first-time
You know,
caller.
Adam was so bummed when we told him that you were going to be here, and he was like,
I know.
Adam and
I
Brad.
feel the same way.
Adam and Brad both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wanted to meet you as well.
Well, we were
Oh, I
like,
thought you meant that he was bummed that I was going to be here.
No,
no.
He couldn't stop it because he's on vacation. I'm
So
here despite him.
Elaine and I were coming up with we were talking about who we could get as a guest, and the thing that we realized is we should get the person who's going to be the most psychologically damaging for Adam and Brad to miss. And they were both really excited about meeting you. So, you know, there you go.
On that note, I also would love to introduce you all to the person controlling our verticals and horizontals, one Willis Lai.
Hello, everyone. Happy to see everyone here, and yeah, for all you listeners here, thank you for coming and listening in. Thanks, Nathan, for joining us today.
And hey, Willis, thanks for doing the verticals and horizontals.
Hey, thank you, Will Smith.
Do you do any diagonals? Got any diagonals over there? Or
No diagonals, just
horizontals?
straight up horizontal verticals.
What happens if you introduce diagonals? Have you tried it?
Well, you turn the knob on your TV, and then pretty soon the lines start, instead of going down or sideways, they're just kind of going like this, diagonally across. And then your dad yells at you for messing up the TV, it turns out. And then you have to turn the dials back until it looks more or less right.
And you have to stand in the corner. You have to hold one of the antenna with your hand to use the conductivity of your body to increase reception for one of the 5 shows that you get
Yes, that.
out in the boonies.
Do any of
Will's
you
from the holler. He knows.
Yeah.
Do any of you remember the weird pride you would get as a child where you're like, I'm helping this family when you were told to
holding
go
the
and hold the antenna?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Was it just me?
I'm contributing.
I'm
Yeah.
contributing to this family.
Look, we had a couple of channels that you could only get after dark where I grew up. So they were UHF channels. They were not that kind of channel, Nathan. Don't make that face.
We all made that face, Will.
And they were it was a ABC station from over the mountain in Asheville. And they had a really good kids show on, like a local cowboy kids show on Saturday mornings, where they had like cartoons and like the guy, like it was like Captain Kangaroo, but local, like the local news version of Captain Kangaroo. And you guys don't know what Captain Kangaroo is. It was the local news version of Mr. Rogers.
Don't insult me, Will. I know what Captain Kangaroo
You know what
is.
Captain Kangaroo is.
I'm 40 years old, Will.
Okay,
Wait,
so
is this a regional thing though? Because I don't.
I don't know either.
Captain Kangaroo was like a morning kids show. It was more entertainment than Mr. Rogers, but less entertainment than like the Transformers or G.I. Joe. So it was a guy, it was like Pee-wee's Playhouse kind of, but not insane. If that makes sense. I don't know. He had a weird haircut and he told stories and he was engaging with the children, but it was in a kind of 50s-y way, not a kind of 70s-y or 60s-y
Okay,
way.
so were these reruns?
Captain Kangaroo was on there for a really long time.
Wow, they ran for. So I just took a look. They ran for 29 seasons.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Since 1955.
He was not a real captain, also.
Or a real kangaroo.
He was not a kangaroo either.
Wait. If we're doing math, it started in 1955
Yeah.
and it ended after 29 seasons. We'll assume that means 29 years. Yes.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be roughly the year that Nathan was born. How does Nathan know about this if there were no reruns?
Well, I'm sure there were reruns after
Okay.
they had
there
Captain
were
Kangaroo killed
reruns
off.
Okay.
and had
Jeez.
VHS tapes of Captain Kangaroo.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was like that there was a format that was like morning variety show for kids. Right. And it was like they'd have a juggler on, or they'd have a ventriloquist, or they'd have some singing group, or they'd have a cartoon, or they'd have kids playing games. And that format has completely gone away. It just doesn't exist anymore.
I believe that's how Sherry Lewis got her start.
On
From
as
Lamb
Lamb
Chops.
Chop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a Captain Kangaroo, right?
Oh, I had no idea that was her origin story.
Yeah. Most people have
You
no
might
idea
want
who
to
she
fact
is.
check that.
We don't fact check things here, Nathan. It's just not what we do.
Dominic Dom in the chat says Captain Kangaroo, Mr. Green Jeans. Who's Mr. Green Jeans?
Wasn't Mr. Green
Very
Jeans
Blue Jeans?
one of the characters on Captain Kangaroo?
Do you
I
guys
think.
know?
I don't remember.
I should be using this time to Google what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
These were all off topics.
Everything's going great though.
Everybody of a certain age is getting a history lesson, and everybody outside the United States is getting a cultural lesson. Apparently,
Yes.
Yeah. Well, look. So the thing that happened in the 80s was that kids' TV had to have some sort of educational value at some point, which is why they started putting those PSAs on the end of G.I. Joe that were like, "Hey, why don't you stop all the downloading?" Or if you're on fire, you can stop and roll and
Downloading.
put. That's a fake PSA that they made in the 90s.
That's from
based on
Sensor
those.
Films.
Yeah. But the 80s stuff was all like,
no, I remember these. I remember they were horrifying with the whole
Yeah.
like, if you're on fire, just do this. If you're drowning, just do this to tread water. I'm
yeah.
like,
If some guy in a white van comes up and asks if you've ever seen the inside of a white van, just run away and call a police officer. All of those things were PSAs that they had to add in as a result of this. And I think that rule probably killed the Captain Kangaroo likes too.
Oh.
Because they had no educational value.
The more
But it
you
didn't kill
know.
Mr. Rogers, because
The
Mr.
more
Rogers
you know.
was full of educational value.
Yeah.
It's nothing but.
Well, he's a good
And
Pittsburgh.
emotional value. That's right. It's Pittsburgher from my hometown.
Yeah. Just like Nathan. Nathan, Mr.
That's right.
Rogers. Just like that. I made the fingers crossed, like tight signal there.
We were
super
tight.
tight.
Yeah, super tight.
Super tight.
I love Mr. Rogers. We will not speak ill of Mr. Rogers on this podcast. Elena.
We will not. So good news. Well, no,
Okay.
I'll get to that when we get to the news topics.
Oh,
I can't
maybe we
wait.
should start with the news topics.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, Will, I brought
Hi,
this
hello.
up because I know that you used to be in game development.
I still am in game
or
development.
are
yeah.
in game development.
You are?
excuse me.
Yeah. I mostly consulting these days. If people need help getting their games made, you can reach out to me and I will help you help you get money and or produce your games. Hi.
Why is there malware appearing in Steam games?
So, okay, so this is a thing that a friend of the show, Mike Kreider, wrote a couple articles about
Not
over
friend
the
of the
last.
show, our colleague.
Colleague.
My colleague.
Okay, your colleague, Mike. He's my. I get.
He's
You
your
all pay
friend.
me to be here.
We're collegiate.
Yeah, we're collegial.
Collegial. Thank you. That's the word.
So there have been a couple of instances of malware. This has happened off and on over the years. Malware has shown up in Steam games over the years. It happens with all platforms, with the exception, I guess consoles probably doesn't happen to. But a couple, sometimes it happens because a game developer is compromised and like their their code. Their machines get infected, and then the infected machines spread the infection to the executables that are then uploaded to Steam by their like whole production pipeline. Sometimes it's actually people who are writing malware and creating malware, posting, like creating fake games on Steam that use like asset flips or ripped versions of other games that they then recompile and re-release as like basically bait games to get people to infect their PCs. Now, how it happens, there's two things that are interesting about this. One is like how it happens, right? Because everything you upload to Steam goes through a series of checks, right? They virus scan everything that goes up because they don't take, there are 15, 20,000 games released on Steam every year. They don't assume that all of those games are going to be made by people who are good at doing what they're supposed to be doing. And a lot of them are kind of, shovelware, for lack of a better term. They're like mobile ports and stuff like that just kind of get dumped out. And if 5 people buy them, then they're thrilled. So they do scans and they don't, for fairly obvious reasons, publish how the scans work or what they're using or what services they're using or anything like that. But presumably they're using something like VirusTotal or one of the API-based virus checkers that will do like a meta scan of the things that you upload. So,
but
yes.
It sounds like that's the key part right there, is that it only happens on uploads, so it doesn't continue to monitor.
Well, so once the game is downloaded to somebody's computer, then there are other ways that it can be updated. Like most game developers use Steam to update the game, but often there'll be a chunk of game inside there that you can download code for. So, for example, if you have a game that has like a daily challenge, right? Like Spelunky I don't think Spelunky actually works this way, but if it did, if you have a daily challenge and you want to provide a seed for your like level generation technology, like if you have a roguelike that has a daily challenge. I'm like working my way through this example. If you have a roguelike that has a daily challenge and you want everybody to play the same exact level every day, then you might have on a server someplace just a text file that contains the seed. And the game will, like any other piece of software on your computer, can connect to the internet, grab that file, look at the seed and say, okay, it's midnight, it's 12:01, we're changing the seed, we're going to get the new file from the thing, and you get a new fresh seed, and that's fine. Text file, you're not going to get malware in. There's nothing stopping somebody who's writing a malicious application from posting something clean that goes through the virus scans on Steam, passes clearly, and then downloads a whole package of malware as soon as the game's installed on your computer.
Right. Trojan horse, basically.
Yeah,
or like, sorry, not an actual Trojan horse, but in the sense of the actual myth.
Yeah, it's just a way to get malware onto your computer. Like I said, the other way that this happens is if somebody's like some developer that's actually making good games and is trying to do things the right way and have a real business of this actually has machines that are infected with something that doesn't get picked up in the scan. Either it's too new or it's, sometimes directly targeted at them. It's a relatively easy if you have a game that has 20,000 users attached to it that are updating on Steam and you compromise one machine in that thing, you can suddenly have a network of 20,000 machines that are infected with this really, really relatively easily. Now they have to actually start the game, which is the next hard part, but it happens. So, like, I think there's a couple of questions that came out of this is why when we started talking about it, I don't know if this is indicative of some larger problem. Like, are we seeing arms race in malware versus anti-malware creation thanks to the rise of AI vibe coding? Like, are malware developers vibe coding people who couldn't previously make new zero-day malware exploits?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So they're using Claude code and all the things that are available now.
Not necessarily that. One of the things I don't know if you know now these days, Nathan, I am covering security for PCWorld. So one of the things I did this year was I went to now called the RSAC conference, and there was a whole session on like quote evil versions of AI chatbots. So they are specifically designed for spreading mayhem, helping create malware, that kind of thing. So there are purpose-built tools basically on the other side. So
that seems bad.
It is an arms race right now. Like, this is a thing that a lot of the security software companies are talking about and have been talking about for the last couple of years, which is that kind of back and forth is just between them is just getting much faster. So they're trying to catch up by using AI as well to try to catch some of these things and, see if they can detect patterns faster.
And I was just saying, are they using like heuristic stuff to detect these problems? Is that like they're looking for behavior that looks virus-like still, or is it more that they just have a bazillion honeypots around and they're just trying to constantly get their machines infected and then reverse engineer from there?
Like koalas.
Yeah, like koalas. Koalas are the honeypot of the.
Oh
of the
boy! What a
contribution to this
callback to our pre-show conversation. That was not safe for work, Will.
It was fine.
Not safe for work,
it's
Will.
It's not an STD in the koalas.
Literally, as we were explaining to Nathan what we do and don't really cover on the show.
It's fine. Look, it's a medical condition, Elena.
You know what? I'm gonna let Adam deal with this one.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna talk to HR on Monday. It's fine. But yeah, I'm curious. I don't remember what we're talking about now. I'm curious what
infections, but not of the human variety.
Yeah, the koala, the naughty koalas is what we're talking about.
No, not that either.
No,
machines.
I don't know. So, for example, one of the games I worked on had a release that was consistently triggering a couple of antivirus tools. And we would get things like, you'd get like a negative Steam review that says, hey, this game has a virus, thumbs down, and then nothing else. And the person would refund the game. And then you'd never be able to find out what antivirus they use. Right. So and if you work at a big publisher, if you work at like Blizzard or Activision or somebody like that, they have somebody back in the deep recesses of the organization that knows to scan every release as part of their release management pipeline that runs it through VirusTotal and Metascanner and all these different tools that kind of, that essentially have like web front ends for all the main consumer antivirus tools, right? So Kaspersky and McAfee and Norton and Windows Defender and all that stuff. When you work in indie games, nobody knows how to do this until they have this problem, and then you call somebody like me, and I'm like, oh, okay, here's how we do this. We fix this problem this way, and the way we found it is somebody said, hey, check out this VirusTotal thing. It'll tell you which one is the offender. And then we sent our file, a code for our game on Steam to the company that was blacklisting us and said, hey, you can take a look at this. It's totally legit. We're not a virus. We're just a game. We have some, we write log files to folders that you guys don't like, which is because of Unreal. Maybe consider unblacklisting us. And then they did. And we stopped getting those negative Steam reviews. But you kind of have to build that into your pipeline. And that's why VirusTotal, for example, you can pay them and have API level access to their scanner. So just as part of your production build pipeline, you say, okay, before we hit the button that sends this to Steam, please do a quick scan on these 12 files, these DLLs and executable files that are potentially going to be triggered by antivirus tools.
Okay.
And so presumably Steam is paying for something similar. Presumably Steam's not building their own antivirus because it's a 300-person company and that's a big, giant job. So presumably they're paying for something of VirusTotal or one of those other similar services. And as a result, they're the services are missing stuff occasionally, which feels bad. And I don't know what the solution for this is. It seems like a real problem going forward.
Do you think there's no solution for it? Because that doesn't seem like it's an unsolvable problem.
I think the solution is that our antivirus technology is on any of these kinds of security things, there's always a push-pull as one side gets better than the other, right? And it seems like right now the strength is on the virus creators, the malware creators, and the antivirus people haven't probably caught up to the rise of new, your malicious Claudes and your all your dark web AI and all that business.
So one of the things I talk about on our website on PCWorld is
it's PCWorld.com.
It's PCWorld.com.
PCWorld.com.
That as consumers, there's not a lot we can do to control the behavior of corporations, right? If they have not ideal level security teams, they get breached, they get hacked, your data is like leaked everywhere, which is pretty much everyone is at this point. Then you can't control that part, but you can control kind of how you structure your life to deal with that possibility. And it sounds like to me, if that's the case where you can't really control how well a developer is running their pipeline, if you can't control how much resources Valve's able to dedicate to malware, you can't control how fast antivirus, resources can catch these different emerging threats, then is it just that you stick to really well-known titles or like well-known publishers that are releasing titles? Because that doesn't seem great for the indie scene, right? Because as you said, a lot of them don't have the resources for this. But I mean, among the people listening here, a lot of people probably have secondary specific gaming only PCs. If you're sitting at this table, you might have several of them. So, I mean, you could also just have a dedicated, really gaming only PC if you are diving into the depths of, Steam early access games and whatnot. But it sounds just really not ideal.
I mean, so I think again, it's complicated. One of the things you do is you have good antivirus on your computer, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Now the problem is if Steam's good antivirus doesn't detect the virus that's being distributed, then your antivirus isn't going to detect the virus that's being distributed either, most likely, because yours is probably rolled up into their meta antivirus that they run on everything that they run through the system. And I think, I don't think that there's the 100% safety answer to this question is you take the Ethernet plug that's plugged into the back of your computer and you unplug it, and you have a thing that you can do Word docs and Excel spreadsheets and play the games that you have downloaded at this moment, and then you never touch the internet again. Right. I don't think
that sounds ideal.
Yeah.
Actually have a machine that hasn't been connected to the internet for 6 years.
Yeah.
No, just for 6 years.
Yeah. And then,
but no, I don't do anything with it. It's just, I did boot it up once recently when I was taking a hard drive out of it. And it's like, oh, this machine thinks it's 2019 because the CMOS battery died at some point.
Man, 2019 sounds great. Can we go back? Is that all we have to do? Like PUBG's still good. Fortnite's new. And you have to learn how to crank 90s. What do kids even play in 2019?
I was playing The Witcher 3.
Okay.
But that was my answer for a lot of years. Wait, did that come out in 2019 or 2020? Don't fact check me. That is actually my maximum PC rig. The rig I built as I was leaving maximum PC. It lasted from 2012 to 2019.
It's like a time machine.
But I did have an actual relevant thing to add to the discussion. So I did a little digging, a very small amount of digging. So this is only the third time, right, that we've seen something malware like this year. Okay. It's not great. 3 times in a year. Okay. It's not good.
20,000 releases, guys.
Right. 5 good games. No, excuse me.
Wow.
No,
in a different way.
There were only 2 of the games actually had malware distributed via Steam, right? One of them, unclear whether the developers had anything to do with it or was some accident, like you said, in their pipeline. Somebody snuck it in, inside job. Who knows? 2 of them, one of them was downloaded by all of about 1,500 people. But the third malware Steam-related incident was not actually on Steam. The developers put in their demo a link to their website, a website they did not actually register the domain name for. So somebody else registered it and put a downloadable game demo on it that had malware on it. So that was a little bit of an own goal there, as they say. Not great, but also not really Steam's fault in any way.
Well,
other 2, yes. At least, they should have caught it. They didn't initially. Not great, but two games out of 20,000. And then a third incident where somebody forgot to register the domain that they advertised. I don't know.
Fair. I guess my question back to you though would be, how many of us see Steam and other game stores as a safe space, a safe place, right? Because it's kind of I think for me, one of the reasons. That's what I mean, right? Because I think that's maybe more of the crux of it than the actual threats themselves and how widespread it is. Because it's more like in a trusted space, when mistrust starts spreading, it seems much more damaging than if you go into a space knowing that, no different than, I'm at my friend's place. I'm not expecting for someone to rifle through my bag and steal stuff from it versus, leaving my bag on a chair while I'm at a restaurant to go order something or go to the bathroom, much more likely that some stranger could grab something from it, right? And I'm wondering, like, is the danger more that people are just very trusting right now still about this? And do we just need to become more paranoid? Do we expect more from our tools? So this is more like a philosophical question as opposed to, hard.
Like one of the things I looked for, and I'm kind of disappointed isn't there, is I love to see a good like zero fault postmortem after something like this happens. But they don't call them postmortems anymore. But the idea is you go back in, you look at what went wrong, and you find the systemic errors in your process that allowed this to happen, and then you work to rectify those errors in the future. And I would be curious what Valve's response to this is, because they, as far as I was able to find, their blogs, they have 1 million blogs, so it's impossible to find because they're like, there's probably a security blog attached to a Valve security game ID somewhere in their Steam community site that I just am not able to search for. But I would love to know what their response to this is, because like on one hand, 20,000 games released this year, 3 negative outcomes on games that were affected less than 2,000 people, I think probably all told, looking at the number of reviews and stuff on these titles, is pretty good. That's a pretty good rate when they have like 3 billion person minutes a month on their service or something ridiculous. On the other hand, you're right. Like, this is a place where you should feel safe. And I feel like as they opened up, like, on one hand, I love the accessibility of Steam for indie developers, right? It's much easier to get a game on Steam. You pay your $100 and then you get a developer login and you upload your game to Steam, and then anyone in the world can download your game. And that's incredible. On the other, as opposed to say Nintendo or Microsoft or Sony, or even Epic, where you have to go through an application process and they look at your game, they play it, and they actually they engage with the content in some meaningful way. Valve says, no, we don't. This is an open platform for everybody to use. And that's really powerful and important and good. But also as a user, at each step that they've made Steam more accessible to people, the experience for me has gotten kind of crappier, right? There's more crap. There's a ton of games that I don't really have any interest in playing. There's a ton of weird shovelware. There's a ton of weird asset flips that are just like, the Unity default demo game with Barney the dinosaur or some other kind of weird character in there.
So many throwbacks today.
And they just exist, and they're not really something anybody buys. Just anybody who has $100 can upload their game making 100 demo project from their college days, which that's fine, whatever. It just makes the store really noisy, and it makes it harder for people who are actually spending real time and energy and effort to kind of break through the noise of those 20,000 releases every year, right? So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't have a good answer. This is why I work here and not at Valve.
We're back in the eternal philosophical debate, right? Do you want the walled garden with the gatekeepers, or do you want the lower barrier of entry? It's Macs versus PCs. That's what this is.
Yeah.
Here we are again.
And we love Max here, so I think walled garden sounds great. From where I'm sitting.
No. Okay, I have to channel Gordon here. That's a no.
I have
Will.
to say, since having children, and I have 3 children, I really appreciate a walled garden. Love a walled garden. I mean, there's still kind of crappy stuff on like Apple Arcade. But compared to the stuff that's out there on the regular app store on their iPads, it's like, hey, can I get this gotcha game? Hey, Dad, can I have $40 for How to Train Your Dragon: The Rise of Berk? Hey, Dad, I got to log in every day to get my streak so I can oh boy.
Hey,
give me
Dad,
a walled garden.
My friend Janie's on Roblox, and she wants me to hang out with her. Can I play Roblox? The answer is no. Don't let them play Roblox.
No forever. No, I don't. I let them play Minecraft, but only with each other.
Minecraft is great. Minecraft is fabulous. Yeah. Let them play with each other and their friends. Nintendo stuff, surprisingly good. I mean, you're looking at 3 Switches, which is the price of a used car at this point. But
I went from 1 Switch to 3 Switches very suddenly, and I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I actually do know what happened. My brother got a Switch 2 and gave me his Switch OLED. And then like a week later, we got a Switch 2. And then we had our Switch 1 and a Switch OLED. So now I have 3 Switches in the house, which feels like too many.
Well, I hope you like buying 3 copies of every game, because they're really good about that.
No, we're all taking turns.
Okay. No Mario Kart.
Excess of hardware.
Yeah.
Dearth of software.
I was going to say LAN party here. Have a Nintendo LAN party.
LAN party.
Wow.
But
Well,
yeah.
did you ever go to? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
That's a tangent. Nope, total tangent.
Okay.
No, it's okay. We can do a little tangent.
Nope. I have two tangents. If you ever listened to the Maximum PC podcast, you may recall that it was just a nesting array of tangents as far as the eye could see. I think we actually went on topic once by mistake.
Oh, who does that?
It was a different time for podcasts back then.
It was a different time. I Googled malware on Steam. There is a game called Malware on Steam. It's $2.99 and it has mostly positive reviews.
I just see that.
How many reviews, Nathan? 1,000. That's a popular game.
Yeah.
I mean, that means they probably sold a couple 100,000 copies, would be my guess.
Oh, I love this.
It's
My
got
goodness.
like a Windows 95 interface.
It does.
With a EULA.
It does.
This is great.
This is like a
I
fake.
might have to play this.
Wait, does it do the cascading windows that you can't stop thing? Because I feel like
no, I don't
that's
want
like
that.
that's a throwback right there.
Oh, what is it? Is it Hypnospace Outlaw has, I think, my favorite fake computer interface in a game. It's like a Windows 95 machine, and it does the whole game you play inside this Windows 95 machine. You should play Hypnospace Outlaw. You're making a face at me.
No,
now.
that's the thoughtful face.
play
I
it,
will take
yeah.
your recommendation.
Okay.
People on the Discord server were very happy with your Little Kitty Big City.
Oh, Little Kitty Big City is a banger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They tried to attribute it to
Maybe
me,
I'll
and I
play that.
couldn't take credit for it.
No, like I'm generally
recommendation?
anti-cat because of the allergy thing.
Well, that's a you problem. Will.
I know, but
There are medicines for that, Will.
Like Little Kitty Big City. If you like Little Kitty Big City, Nathan, your kids are the right age for this too. Side tangent on games for children recommendation.
Tangent of tangents.
Yes, give me all of the games for children.
Untitled
recommendations.
Goose Game.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Homie, don't cite the old magic.
Oh,
to me.
okay. Well, you were talking about a computer you resurrected from 2019 a minute ago, and I just assumed you'd gone through a time warp.
I mean, in many ways, I have. However, I had a Nintendo Switch, and during lockdown, so
Okay, you had time.
we had Goose Game. The first time my kids played that game, just the sheer cackling,
Oh yeah.
sheer cackling.
Well, the kitty game is the same vibe, but with a cat instead of a goose.
Wait, the cat just
totally
knocks
into
over
it.
things constantly? Is that what it is?
The cat is doing cat things. The goose is doing goose things. The cat's doing cat things.
Yes.
Yeah. And like the cat, the thing I like about Little Kitty Big City versus say something like Stray, which is also a game where you play as a cat, is that Stray is a platformer where you happen to be a cat, and Little Kitty Big City is a game where you are role playing as a cat. doing
Okay.
cat
No,
stuff.
this actually does sound more like what I wanted because Stray's been out for almost 3 years now.
like 2-3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, like if you haven't played it yet, spoilers, like the next 15 seconds, just fast forward. But when I got to the section in Stray where it was like the weird like monster things that you're running through, it's just like, what is this? Why am I here? I thought I was being a cat.
I couldn't believe that Mecha Hitler showed up.
Little visual comedy for the folks watching the live stream.
Yeah. But yeah, Little City Big Kitty's great. Highly recommended. I wish it had a 2-player mode like Goose Game. Goose Game, putting 2 kids in Goose Game is a magical experience.
I will say though, it's not just children who cackle while playing this game.
Oh, no.
I introduced a friend of mine who is 40 years old to this game last fall. And the amount of giggling and cackling, he loved it so much. I'm not sure why he gave me the shirt. That dude tormented that poor kid with the glasses.
Yeah, the kid with the glasses takes a lot
He
of
just-
psychic abuse.
Yeah, and he enjoyed it. And I was like, I learned something about my friend here. And then he finds a copy, a riff on like the Scream, that famous
Yeah.
painting, but it's the goose and the boy. And he gives me this T-shirt, and I'm like, I don't understand why you're commemorating this for me. Like, I don't know if I want to remember this fact about you.
A friend of mine is an artist who does T-shirts on, I think, Threadless still. Her name's Sarah Bacan, and she has a series of really wonderful Goose Game shirts that are like no gods, no masters, and it's the goose with a knife in its mouth.
Yeah.
And the other one is I do what I want, and it's just like the goose with a fire burning behind it and like a gas can. The game's incredible. Anyway.
We have a little one of our friends crocheted a beautiful like goose blanket for our third child. Actually, dream date with Murph winner Magali Farrar, family friend to this day.
Wow.
Yeah, bonded
Wait.
with my wife. Over
Yeah,
the-
Wait, can we have a little story time
boy.
for? So, one of the things I did warn Brad and Adam about, that when we were going to get together a reunion of various future employees, that we might go hard into the reminiscing.
Might be about the past, it turns out.
Let's talk about the past, Bob. But I don't know this story. What is this?
Oh, this one's a nightmare. Nathan, you should.
No, not the. One of them went weirdly, and one of them went well.
Oh, no, like.
Wait, what is this concept? Like, I know about the dream machine, but I do not know about this dream date.
So many years ago at Maximum PC, we wanted to do a reader contest, and the winner would get to come to our office, see the lab, have lunch with the staff, etc. But for some reason that I do not recall, this was pitched as a dream date with then associate editor Dave the Murph Murphy, friend of the show. Tech journalist, man with a very deep voice, the creator of the
he talks really fast too.
Cardboard PC.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you don't know
winner
this,
of that 500. This is a tangent inside a tangent. Anyway, we had this contest for Dream Date with Murph. And one of our readers entered her college-age daughter.
Yeah. Just to be clear, this is the part that's the weird part, but it worked out okay.
Wow, the 2000s were a different time.
To be clear, an adult.
Yeah.
Right?
But
a
still.
human adult woman.
This is before we really understood parasocial relationships as a species. So it's, like we've been doing the podcast. She was like, oh, these are nice boys. Continue.
Anyway.
Sorry, Nathan.
Anyway. The winner of the Dream Date contest came to the office, and we all had a great time. Ended up dating a staffer for a little while, but
Mama.
No, this is no,
not the mom.
No, I mean as a matchmaker.
Yeah. So
no, it worked.
It worked.
Yeah.
Everybody involved was lovely. It was really, really nice, and it was.
This is before parasocial relationships got weird.
Yeah, this was in like 2005.
I know. It's like before they got super.
2007.
Yeah.
Ended up bonding with. I started dating a woman in 2009 who is now my wife, and she and the Dream Date winner became close friends, and we bonded even more when I lived in. We were both living in Europe during the pandemic, and she was like the closest thing to family. We were able to smuggle across the border when our third child was born, so she was there. Good friend. Thanks to the Maximum PC Dream Date with Murph.
I had no idea.
We love you.
Wow.
This is incredible. Yeah,
wow.
she was awesome. Like anyway, it was like now it kind of gives, when I think about it, I'm like, oh, this is bad. This is not a good idea on multiple levels. But back then it all seemed relatively harmless, and we were figuring this out as we went. And like, you have to remember this was before there was software on your phone that would download the podcast for you. In order to listen to a podcast in the car or not at a computer, you had to like plug in the computer. You had to plug in a thing to your MP3 player, and you had a special piece of software on there. And like once or twice a month, you'd plug it in and would just dump a whole load of new podcasts. So you'd have something to yell at in the radio in the car. And we didn't realize that this was forming a whole new forms of relationships with listeners and people. And anyway,
I love how Will is revealing how long he's been an Apple shill at this point.
I had a Creative Labs Zen stick player back then. You didn't need
super special hardware for some of these MP3 players. You could just treat them like flash drives and just drop in an MP3 on it.
No, you needed the software to download the podcast.
What?
So you had a podcatcher that would grab the files automatically.
Oh,
and
you
then
did fancy.
Then when you plugged it in, it just copied it over. So you didn't have to think about it.
These rich people with their ability to afford software licenses. I was just a poor student, just downloading directly from websites and just dumping it onto my thing. Making my own folders manually.
Adam Curry's podcatcher was incredibly important. Look, you can go see on lowerstreet.co his equipment list, and he talks about the podcatcher. Anyway, we're using the same mics. That's funny. Anyway,
was that Napster you were using, Elena?
No, not Napster.
No, you were LimeWire. Yeah, you had to be LimeWire.
I knew someone was going to say that immediately after.
Talk about going back to malware.
Liquid R, it is Adam Curry from MTV, the ostensible inventor of the podcast. Kind of. Asterisk. First successful
Needs
podcaster.
Must. Is that the phrase?
I don't remember.
Needs must, where the need dictates the creation of something.
Yeah. He wanted to make a radio show, but they didn't let him on MTV anymore. So he was like, what if he talked to some nerds, and the nerds were like, hey, let me tell you about RSS. Spread the good word about RSS. And then here we are not using RSS at all 20 years later, except for machines to talk to machines.
I don't know about you.
I can get you an RSS feed.
Yeah.
I know.
I get you an RSS.
We should do an RSS episode because I've been using Feedcatcher for a long time on my NAS.
Get real nerdy with it.
Pretty nice. Yeah, it's like going back to
Feedcatcher on a NAS. It's pretty nerdy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that we are now beyond even nesting dolls version of tangents here.
Should we talk about keeps? Oh, go ahead.
So what I want to know with the whole Steam malware thing is, should I still be trusting free games on Steam?
Depends on how many reviews they have.
So I think that's what I was going to, when we got back to the topic eventually, I was going to talk about this because to me, the more I listen to this, the more I think that it's starting to sound more like the landscape around like browser extensions. You know what I mean? Where it's just, there's so many, you can download pretty much almost anything that you want at this point. But the way to screen them is not just looking at the reviews, but thinking about like how many users do they have? Has anybody from like multiple reputable sources, maybe not just like, reviewers, but just, people who are pretty big have a big voice, on the internet. Creators, YouTubers,
curators. The Steam has those curators lists, right?
Yeah. There's like 3 good curators on the curators list. It's just
but who are they?
A lot of them are kind of questionable these days. Anyway,
but yeah, just
our friends at PC Gamer have a list, don't they?
But basically, people whose opinions you trust, right? Because here's the thing: it is less likely, not impossible, but less likely to run into nasty things if there are more people looking at it, right? So it's not. But another thing too is that if it does happen, then it's more likely you will hear about it too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a dual purpose for that. Does that restrict you to things that, maybe are more mainstream and not quite so interesting and niche and new? Possibly, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I was trying to touch on earlier when talking to Will about the whole, this does seem unfortunate for, true indie game creators, right? Because they just don't have as many resources. They might not have the ability to get word out. It might not go viral for them. So it could be honestly a good game or something that you would find interesting. But if they only have 1,000 users or something small, maybe that doesn't cross a threshold for you to feel comfortable, right? So then at that point, it's like you have to decide, I think.
I mean, I think 1,000 users is a lot of people when you're looking at 20,000 releases on Steam every year, and the curve is the fat part of the curve ends at 99.9% of that. We're talking, just to be clear, about 3 malware incidents out of 20,000-ish games that'll be released this year, which is 0.15%.
Sure. But here's my thing. So here's the thing too. Nathan's not wrong bringing that up. You're not wrong for reiterating that. My perspective is more of the long view, which is this potentially a sign of, we can't say this word on this show, Nathan, we've done it before, the enshittification of everything.
Yeah.
Like AI enshittifying everything. We've talked about this before because we've seen this happen in other places, right? So for me, it's not that maybe a little bit I'm waving my hands around saying the sky is falling, but we have examples elsewhere, like the whole browser extension thing that I brought up.
But
the app stores, the reason why you both are walled gardens are great. You know what I mean? So it's not that it's going to happen, but it seems very possible that it could, and if that's the case, very likely to happen. So then how do we approach this, right? I think we're beyond the point where we can just look at things and go, we believe in the best of humanity. That'll never happen.
No, you shouldn't do that. but so okay, on the extreme indie side, sites like Itch exist for those folks, right? Like Itch, if you have a game that is really highly specific and you want to reach 50 to 1,000 people, Itch is great for that, right? It's where if you write interactive fiction, you can post your Itch game and you'll find an audience for it there because there's a lot of people that like that stuff there, and you can price it at 0 to pay what you want to $10 or $20 or whatever, whatever price you want on Itch, which is Itch is great. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on with Itch and Steam that maybe and payment processors this week that maybe we should have gotten into as well. But we've tangented enough, so I'm gonna pull back from there. The thing about
Keywords. No, sorry.
Yeah. The thing about
Please, put me in, coach.
The thing about where Valve and Steam are right now is that they have to respond in a way that says, hey, this has happened several times this year. We're worried about it. Here are the things that we're doing to solve this problem so that we can have confidence in this in Steam as a platform. And right now, this is a thing that a handful of nerds know about, right? Like the kind of people who care about security stuff and PC hardware and PC security are probably hyper aware of this. And the kind of people that buy NBA, 2K, and COD and whatever the current hot shooter is probably don't have any idea exists. And it won't be a problem until somebody hacks, a game that has 100,000 players, and suddenly everybody's computers are infected with malware, and it's Steam's fault. And what Valve wants to happen is for them to institute procedures that will prevent that from happening. And what you and I want as people who care about this stuff is for them to say, hey, we're instituting procedures that will prevent that from happening. Here's what we're doing. And they haven't. They're quiet because they're Valve and they don't talk about stuff.
Sure. I personally am, I put this, I feel like we can talk all day about what we would like to see from corporations. And I think a lot of them are very aware, as you just pointed out, that this is a problem. I've seen a lot more just in the last year from, Google, Microsoft, a lot of the really big name tech companies who don't necessarily quote unquote have to step up doing so because they realize that if they don't, the user behavior is not going to change. Right? They just too busy, not interested, whatever, find it too complicated. And it is becoming more complicated to keep up with it all. So they're implementing things to make it easier, which is great. My thinking is more of like, I think when I hear you talk about this, I hear you say it more from the perspective of, oh, there's this really bad malware potentially. It could be spread to like so many people at once, and that's how it's going to become a problem. When I hear this, I think, oh, it actually makes a lot more sense for a lot of these people who, as you said, are, doing malicious AI vibe coding to not necessarily target masses. It's a lot easier for them to fly smaller and get some targets, right? And what I find really interesting is that there's a lot of times that I've heard in recent news over the last year or so where some of these malicious browser extensions, for example, they do the job they're advertising. They will convert your PDF. They will download that file from YouTube, whatever. So they can work in the background and do whatever they're doing, like use your system as like maybe like a botnet resource or
miner or whatever.
Stealing, data from your PC quietly, that kind of thing, in a much more surreptitious way than, that person who downloads a pirated copy of Adobe back in the day where everyone's like, you kind of deserved it. Like, it's very obvious that that's probably what's going to happen to you, right? But this doesn't seem as obvious. And I kind of wonder if it's going to be this way where somebody's just like, here's a game that's literally about malware, haha, but in the background it's doing something meta, right? I feel like maybe they target somebody who's like, I want this kind of very specific dating sim that never gets translated to English, and that's for me, so I'm not gonna be able to find it somewhere else. And I mean, I am projecting a little here, but I am wondering if that's what we're gonna see more of, because it's much harder to squash out a bunch of like a million ants than it is to kill that one gigantic spider staring at you.
Would you rather fight a million ant-sized spiders? No, doesn't make sense.
But if you're a malware developer and you have a 0-day, that's a highly valuable thing at this point, right? Like if you have something that can bypass VirusTotal and all the meta scans to get onto to deliver your package onto some poor indie developer's Steam page, would you rather invest that 0-day on something that's going to hit 500 people who really love Hello Kitty Island Adventure, or 50,000 people who like, whatever other game is the hot one? Ready or Not. I'm picking on Ready or Not.
I don't think they have to choose. That's kind of my point. Because so maybe the more context that I'm thinking from that I'm not explaining is, don't quote me on this exact stat, but I have been getting, press releases, briefings, and they're saying that some of these threats appear within minutes and disappear. Like 8 minutes, 10 minutes. It's so fast, but they can do enough damage in that time. Yeah. And this is from the perspective not of games, obviously, but like phishing sites and things that will come up in search engine results. Obviously, a game is more of an investment of time for a developer, but that's what I mean too. If developers are getting hit, right, they don't necessarily need to create a whole game and upload themselves. They just need to find vulnerable developers who have bad security practices, or catch them in a moment of weakness or whatever, and infect that way to get their payload done.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, Brian V points this out in chat, is absolutely correct. If you target a game that has zero level anti-cheat, ring zero anti-cheat, you have complete access to the entirety of the system in a way that's really hard to unfurl when things go bad. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so
that's kind of why I'm raising this as a topic. I think for a lot of people, they will look at it and they'll look at the numbers, they'll look at the percentages, as Nathan did in a very impressive way. My brain does not work that way. Whoever did the percentage, where it's so small.
Wasn't me.
Oh, it was you. It was you. Of course it was you.
So the bearded one.
Yeah. I'm more concerned about it from what it's signaling for the future than I am about what it means for the now.
I also, Valve got really paranoid about security stuff after Half-Life 2, after they were hacked prior to the Half-Life 2 release 20 years ago now, almost. And I wonder how many of the people that were around then and got super paranoid as a result of that are still there and are still being super paranoid today, when that platform is infinitely larger than it was at that time. Because that was at the the dawn of Steam for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
And now it's a completely different level of threat.
It's we do need to move topics because I do know that Nathan has a heart out, and I really want to hear about this crazy top of the line keyboard experience. But I guess I'll end on saying that I just think that this is unfortunate for us because, as things grow in size, a lot of times people aren't equipped to keep up with the bad actors and all the other things that come with it. Things always start small and they're really great. You get a great community, that kind of vibe. The 90s internet was pretty nice. Bulletin board systems, I really enjoyed those.
The kids love BBSs.
And now we're at the enshittification of the internet.
Yeah, you just like saying naughty words on the podcast when Adam's not here.
It's not naughty words. It's just the only thing that makes me feel better about the state of things right now. Also, making me feel better about the state of things right now was reading Nathan's article. Nathan.
Oh, hi.
Hi. So what's this I hear about was it $3,600 mechanical keyboard?
Oh, yeah. So a couple months ago, I tested the Neubauer Seneca, which is it's a $3,600 keyboard from Neubauer and Company, and it is the nicest keyboard I've ever used in my life. I don't have it here. I had to send it back, shockingly.
As we do.
Yes, as is the ethics policy. But but it was really interesting, and I dug pretty deep into it. Will, you may have met Neubauer at some point. He did a project with Tested a while back, like a decade or so ago. The Star Trek themed keycaps, and then the keyboard that went with them. That was the Neubauer joint.
That was right around the time I left. I was not around for that, but I was familiar with it, and I saw the impact. But it was like Elcar's colors. Is that right?
Yeah. Elcar's inspired keycaps. They were at first generic enough to be legally distinct, but he then eventually got the Roddenberry license, and he made a version with Star Trek iconography on it, and sold officially through the Roddenberry store, which was cool. But no, he basically went down the rabbit hole, and he got really into Topra keyboards. I don't know if either of you know Topra, like the happy hacking keyboard.
Explain Topra.
Oh, here we go. Where's my Topra board?
Show and tell.
Maybe.
So it's these electrocapacitive rubber domes. It's a mechanical style keyboard, but instead of a physical switch inside each key, you have a conical rubber dome that compresses a conical spring, and that changes the capacitance. Like the PCB can detect basically when the actuation is based on the electromagnetic field of the spring collapsing. It's not unlike Hall effect in the sense that that's magnetic sensing. You're sensing the position of a magnet getting close to the PCB, but it's using capacitive sensing on a coil. And the thing that people like about these is not the technology that makes them the capacitance thing per se. It's that they have a really nice, really strong tactile feeling right at the top of the switch. Because it's rubber that's collapsing, it's just it's big. They call it like a D-shaped force curve. All of the the big bump is right at the top, and then it collapses smoothly down to the bottom. It's it's an amazing feel.
Do you get the same kind of tactile sensation as with a mechanical keyboard that has, for lack of a better term, my brain's blanking, higher resistance, more actuation force, I guess, but it's not necessarily so loud or stiff at the beginning? It's got a nice thocky sound to it. Is this like the ultimate tactile switch, like somebody in chat said, Liquid Pulse? It is it's difficult to replicate, impossible to truly replicate with like an MX style switch, and I know that because I've tried a lot with a bunch of different MX switches to replicate the feel of Topra. But what Norbauer did, part of the reason his board is so expensive is that he took Topra and he was like, okay, well, this is amazing. This is the best switch you can get. I'm going to make it better. And basically, if you're familiar with the 80-20 rule, where you get 80% of the results from 20% of the effort, like you put a little in, you get a lot out. And then from there on, it's diminishing returns. Mm-hmm. What he did is he was like, okay, cool. I'm going to do the other 80% of the effort to get the other 20% of the returns. I'm going to do 100-100. Screw 80-20. This is 100-100. And so he poured like hundreds of thousands of dollars into making the switches a little bit better, into making the stabilizers a lot better. And I said hundreds of thousands, right? Not hundreds of millions. That would be truly
hundreds of millions.
Hundreds of thousands.
That would be too much money to spend on a keyboard.
Designing the case and milling it out of just solid aluminum and brass, just like where everyone else in the world very sensibly is like, okay, let's make something that we can sell at reasonable volume and make money on. He's like, no, I'm just going to make the best thing I can possibly make, charge a buttload of money for it, and whoever wants it can buy it, and nobody else has to buy it.
So he's making Ferraris.
Yeah, well, I think the comparison he prefers is Porsche.
Okay.
Or Hermès, but just like or Leica, like all these fancy, like his point. I'm not a car guy. My car is 21 years old. My car can drink. It shouldn't though.
Yeah. Okay.
It drinks about
oil.
14 miles
you just
a
pour
gallon.
oil in there every day?
Yeah. Yeah. No, but it's not a 21-year-old Porsche. It's a 21-year-old Ford. Anyway, no. He's making luxury keyboards. And it is genuinely the best keyboard that I've ever tested in my life, ever used in my life. I could see why, if you had $3,600 and really loved keyboards, yes, absolutely. Like, shoot, yes. If that was a different amount of money to me than it actually is, I would own one. I've discussed it with my wife, and I may not own this keyboard. But
I like that you're like, I still tried. I tried to have the conversation.
It was worth asking.
Hey, honey.
What I did was I moved the Overton window way over there.
Hey,
so you just basically did it so that you can set an anchor point, so that way now you can build keyboards up to 1,000.
Price anchoring. We've established what's too much. It's way over there.
Yeah, her window starts at I think $30, judging from past conversations we've had about this, with like a Logitech Dome keyboard, probably something you get like at Target, maybe would be my guess. So you've gone from $30 up to a few $100, maybe $1,000. That's pretty good. That's a good move.
I have not spent, I don't think, $1,000 on a single keyboard.
Not a single keyboard.
I see $1,000 worth of keyboards behind you right now, though, I think.
Okay, let's do the math.
While you do the show and tell,
3 of those I need to review them. They're going back.
Okay.
I do have one thing I wanted to talk about is like there's so much going on in like entry-level enthusiast kits for like $100 plus switches and keycaps. Like you can do so much cool stuff for not $3,000.
Yeah, that's actually.
And even, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that's actually what's been coming up in the chat, hilariously, predictably, while you've been talking. Where everyone's like, "My keyboard is $55." Someone else said, "I thought $500 was a lot for a keyboard." And so there's a lot of this chatter in there. And so I was hoping you could comment before we start talking about more, I would say, maybe realistic price points for everyone who's listening. What you talked about this a bit in the beginning of the article that you wrote about, what really makes for the best keyboard that you can build, right? I mean, obviously some of it is subjective, but there's going to be some features.
Much of it is subjective.
Much of it is very subjective because a lot of it has to do with tactile feeling, right? But
and sound and aesthetics.
Right. But what are some of the overlapping qualities that people will talk about that comes to like the best, or things that they debate about? Because I feel like it's one thing to hear about a $3,600 keyboard and go, wow, okay, like that's kind of extreme, but not really know what goes into it. But then also hearing, oh, that's a $3,600 keyboard, understanding why it's that price, and still, but understanding too, like that's not for me. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
And I'm kind of wondering what knowledge do I need to get to the second part of that?
What do you like in a keyboard?
Anime girls, judging by our trip to Micro Center last year.
Oh, well, fantastic news for you. If you buy a Newfie keyboard, you will get an anime girl. But
so sorry, go ahead.
No, you tell me. What do you want?
Well, so here's the thing, right? Like I will be very clear. I am a noob when it comes to keyboard things, because one of the things, my restrictions is that I need ergonomic keyboards, and there aren't many options currently. Oh, your eyes just lit up. Maybe I'm about to have a whole new expensive hobby. But there's not a lot of like tented keyboards, not a lot of like split keyboards that kind of match what I'm used to on the rubber dome side of things. Because for me, functionality is most important. But I hear about these other things that people really enjoy. And I'm kind of wondering, like, what makes this metal so worthwhile? What makes this kind of switch so worthwhile? Why does a heavy keyboard have such appeal to people who build these keyboards, so on and so forth? And so we've gotten to $3,600 as a price point because there are certain materials going into it that are contributing towards certain things that are being maximized, right? So
and the upfront cost of the R&D that he's doing, because you don't have to invent your own switches and stabilizers to make an amazing keyboard. He did, and he's building them in LA. There's a lot that goes into that that you don't need to do to get an amazing keyboard. To your point, but the reason I was doing all my like
Mr.
evil
Burns.
warlord, yes, thank you, Mr. Burns. All the cool, weird, sicko stuff is happening in split ergonomic keyboards.
Thank goodness.
There are so many. Now you have to probably do it as a kit. There you can get some off the shelf. Like there are companies that'll build you a Sofal or a Kinesis or a I'm blanking.
I have a Keyboardio Model 100. They kind of started the mechanical ergos years ago.
They're trying.
Yeah.
I did notice in the last couple
beautiful.
years.
They're so beautiful.
That some
Keyboardios.
Some of these keyboard companies, like mine's a Gold Touch. I don't know if it was them or Kinesis that came out with like a gaming keyboard.
Kinesis has one.
Yeah, but like they're not hot swappable switches and they're more expensive. And so I was like,
That's the thing. Like, I think hot swap. So many things are objective. Some things are subjective. Like sound. A lot of people can agree on what sounds bad. People have different ideas of what sounds good. But hot swap, I think for me, you can get a board with hot swap sockets for like $60. Whereas before that was like a $500 keyboard thing. Like 6-7 years ago, you're paying $500 to get a keyboard with hot swap sockets. Now it's just table stakes. And I love hot swap sockets because I love messing around with different switches. Because it changes not just the feel, but can also change the sound. And if you do what my buddy did and spill a protein shake on your keyboard yesterday, Christian.
Shout out to Christian.
Shout out to Christian. And you have an old Philco Majest Touch, great board from like 10 years ago, no hot swap. To get all the protein shake out of that thing, he's going to have to desolder 108 switches. And I'm like, okay, bud, you're just going to go get a new keyboard. Actually, what I said was, rinse it with distilled water, let it dry for a few days. Hot tip, tangent. When my brother-in-law's PC flooded during Hurricane Harvey, we brought the whole damn thing back to life, except for the hard drive and the power supply, by scrubbing it with distilled water and isopropyl. You have to understand, this GPU that he had sat in floodwater for 3 days.
Oh wow!
And we brought his whole computer back to life.
Did you have to take the cooler off and like repaste it or anything, or was it still good?
I'm not a barbarian, Will. Of course they took the cooler off.
Excuse me. No,
But
yeah,
that was you can clean a lot of electronic stuff. Like if you've got short, like if you spill soda or whatever, like as long as it's not connected to power, just blast it with distilled water and isopropyl. Like your problem is probably shorting between stuff on the PCB. And like, anyway.
Norm and I were in a meeting with our publisher at Tested one time, a new publisher, and she had flown up from LA for the day, and we sat down at the conference table, and then she immediately poured a bottle of water into her MacBook, and I was like, oh, don't worry, turn it off, I got this. And I went and got the screwdrivers while we were chatting and just took the whole thing apart, wiped it all down in isopropyl, reassembled it, turned it back on. She was like, how did you do that? I was like, this is what we do. That's what we do here at Tested.
Okay.
She loved us as a result of that.
You planned
Yeah,
that.
I poured the water in her laptop.
Okay, so
but cheap keyboards.
wait, so hold on, just
Yes.
so for all of us who have been too terrified to try something like this, what is the order? Do you try the rubbing alcohol first, or do you do the distilled water first, or does that depend on the substance that's been spilled?
I would say I'd go for distilled water first. Just
A little rinse.
It's cheaper is the thing.
there's that. Yeah.
It depends. For me, it depends on how much of a mess it is. Like if there's liquid, if there's a lot of, if it's just liquid and it's not something kind of chunky like a protein shake, like for just water, I just wiped I took the board all the way out, wiped it down with isopropyl, and then reassembled it and made sure that everything else was dry and all the contacts had been hit with isopropyl, like where the battery goes on and all the little ribbon cables and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The distilled water comes in when you have something that's going to be. My experience has been the distilled water comes in when you have something that you need to actually like rinse off rather than just something that can just kind of be wiped away, because you want the isopropyl to make the water evaporate faster, right?
That's scrub away crud.
Yeah.
So it's sitting in flood water, which is highly probably polluted, right? So are we saying that we like dunk our hardware first in the distilled water, give it a good swish, and then pull it out and apply the alcohol? Like, what is happening
I don't
here?
think we dunked it. If I recall, we basically took off everything we could take off, like disassembled, pulled the RAM, pulled the cooler from the CPU, didn't pull the CPU out of it. Well, we probably did pull the CPU out of the socket just to make sure there wasn't gunk in the socket.
Yeah.
And we went, I think we had a Sterilite box with a little bit of isopropyl and with toothbrush, and we just scrubbed everything down with the little soft bristle toothbrush and isopropyl, just because it was in floodwater. Like,
yeah,
you just
there's glue there.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of
stuff. Houston floodwater. I would do that, but yeah, if you just have want to give something a quick rinse, it's the distilled water. If you've got stuff on there and you're going to need to be scrubbing, I think isopropyl. But either, the point is you want to eliminate any possibility of any gunk bridging any contacts on the board, because that's how you fry stuff, right?
Yeah.
You just make sure, and the isopropyl and the distilled water is just those aren't not going to leave anything on the board.
They're not going to make
So
it worse, right?
They're not going to make it worse. You're going to get, if you've got sugary stuff on there, they're going to help with that. We were talking about keyboards.
I'm mining information.
Yeah.
I'm curious about budget. So my daughter wanted a new keyboard for her computer last year, and I got her, after doing a fair amount of research, a Cooler Master 65% 720, which on sale was $60.
Sure.
It has hot swappable switches. It came with what I'm pretty sure are bootleg cherry, knockoff cherry brown. It was either linear, tactile, or clicky, and I went with tactile for her because I didn't want to hear the clicking. And it's a really surprisingly good little keyboard for $60, which seemed impossible. Like you said, 10 years ago, that would have been a $300 keyboard probably.
Yeah. And RGB underlighting, hot swap stuff, stuff. Firmware remappability is a big thing that I go for, being able to plug your keyboard into a web browser and remap those keys on the fly. I need that because I have weird sicko layout.
Are you Colmac or something these days now? What are you doing?
No, sorry, not that sicko. Okay. It's still QWERTY.
So
I do the HHKB thing where I put command or control where caps lock goes, depending on which platform I is, and I move backspace down to like where the pipe key normally is.
Weird.
I can't live any other way. But I mean, I can. I just don't want to, and I don't have to. Anyway, what you can get for under $100 is like really astonishing. Like,
do you have recommendations for good starters for people who don't want to spend $3,600? Like, what's your is it Keychron? Is it
the boring and correct answer is Keychron.
Yeah.
If you just like, because they have every level from like really nice, the Q Max series, wireless, full aluminum shell, remapability with via gasket mounting stuff. Like they're not, like, you can't go wrong. It's like the Toyota, right? They're reliable. They're priced really aggressively. They have every layout. Like they even have an Alice a Southpaw Alice. So that is the if you Google, like, I think it's the Q14 Max. So it's got this slightly split, almost like an unibody ergo keyboard, but then the number pad on the left, which is where you want your number pad, because that way your arm isn't just, your mouse hand isn't way over here.
Yeah.
To make room for the number pad.
See, I just have a secondary number pad that's wireless.
This is why we do
sure,
75%, folks.
Yeah. This looks good,
75% or 60% with a number pad on the left. That's my maneuver personally. But they've got sub $100 wireless hot swap boards that are like nice. You can't go wrong with them. It's not always the most interesting look. And if you want to build your own keyboard, you can get really weird with it.
I was going to say, what about kits? Like my first mechanical I built was a kit years and years ago, and it involved soldering and putting resistors on boards, and I learned how to SMT solder and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, you can still do that. There's a lot of good hot swap kits. I'm gonna scoot myself. Yeah, we'll
vamp for a minute here.
Cool.
Elena, what's your keyboard at home? What are you're using that? You're using the
Gold
Kinesis?
Touch.
Oh, the Gold Touch.
And it's an Elena special version of it, because I got it super cheap because
it's on brand.
These Gold Touch keyboards, they're split and they're tented, or you can tent them, and you have the ability to adjust the angle of the tenting and like the actual how much it's split as well. But the thing that controls that, there's like basically like, you know how your hip joint has like that kind of like ball and socket kind of thing. So what controlled that was this gigantic lever, however you want to pronounce it, that breaks.
Oh.
It's plastic, and so it was really common for it to break. So if you were trying to adjust your keyboard often because, like your hands are cranky or whatever, eventually that would break. And so you can buy these actually quite cheap on eBay because this would happen a lot.
The broken handle.
Yeah, because it's broken. The keyboard still works, but the tenting won't hold unless you do what I do, and you get a roll of packing tape and you just stick it right under there, and then you've got your tenting, and you can still adjust the angle on the split. Because I'm too cheap to buy yet another keyboard because the handle broke, and that is actually the correct angle for me. I've tried all kinds of things. You
need the right packing tape.
The packing tape, the hard cardboard in the middle part, that's the right height and width to hold that keyboard in the position I need it to be.
I thought you were going to say you 3D printed a handle or something, and I was about to be real impressed.
I grew up in a household that was all about practical and very cheap solutions.
Well, there you go.
You need to post a photo of that on Discord.
I caught a tail end of that. I actually yesterday got a MagSafe tenting kit for my one split keyboard that I have. I haven't set it up yet. It's basically a couple little like MagSafe stands and then the rings. So the idea is you take your split keyboard like this, and you just pop the MagSafe rings on the back, and then you can just adjust the angle on your desk like that. I don't actually use this because it's a Kibio Iris, but it's soldered, and I don't like the switches I soldered in there. And I'm like, well, I hate desoldering a lot, so maybe I'll try again later.
Nathan, you need a reflow station. Once I got a reflow station, a $30 reflow station from Amazon, my feelings about desoldering stuff changed dramatically because it's much easier, it turns out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into it. I did buy a cheap ultrasonic cleaner based on your recommendation at some point.
Yeah, that thing's amazing. Have you taken have you denatured any double shot keycaps with it yet? Somebody told me that can happen if you do it with double shots. So don't use your ultrasonic cleaner on double shots.
No, I just wash them in the salad spinner like God intended.
Okay, there you go.
Anyway, we can do a little bit of show and tell before I have to go in 10 minutes.
Okay.
But there are a lot of, I like building kits because they're fun and you can get cool stuff. And there's a couple, recently there's a lot of like sub 100 or like sub 150 bare bones kits that you can get from vendors like Novel Keys or Omnitype. So the first thing I want to show you, I feel like I'm on QVC. None of this is sponsored. I do not have affiliate relationships or editorial relationships with any of these companies. They just make pretty stuff that I like. This little...
So this is an orange keyboard.
This is the Bauer Light. They're not all orange. They have a bunch of awesome translucent colors. Yeah, it's an orange. It's sort of a 65. It's a Win keyless 65 with a split backspace, which is the perfect layout. I will take no notes on that.
Where's your Copilot key on that thing, Nathan?
Anything he wants it to be.
Yeah.
Well,
no answer. I got to look.
It's where the Copilot key belongs.
Okay, fair.
It is where the Copilot key belongs. This, and they have a bunch of different colors. They've got like, they're about to come out with like an original Xbox translucent green. It's at omnitype.com, the Bauer Light. Shout outs to Omnitype. And I love this because it's like $135 for the kit, and then you get the switches and stabilizers and whatever keycaps you want. And so, I like the old beige looking ones.
And that's a hot swap keys on that one.
Yeah, it's hot swap. Which I like. I've soldered a bunch of keyboards. I just don't want to anymore.
How do you feel about
picky?
How do you feel about AliExpress for switches?
I was just about to ask about this.
I have not ordered a lot of switches on AliExpress.
My guess is that the benefits of ordering from AliExpress have probably diminished dramatically over the last several months.
I don't know the tariff implications, but I don't know. Maybe I would probably go somewhere like Milktooth and order a bunch of little samplers. So they've got all the weird switches, and then find one that you like, and I don't know, either buy it from them or buy it from. I don't know.
Generally, if
a local business,
generally,
I prefer to buy from local businesses.
Yeah, that's my move too. But for a while, switches have gotten kind of inexpensive. Like 5-10 years ago, they were a real luxury. It felt like, and these days, it's much more.
You can still get expensive ones, but there's thousands of different MX compatible switches these days. It's bananas. Like it used to be. There were cherries, and then there were knockoffs, like your Gatorons and your Kales and your Otemus, and they were all like garbage.
Yeah.
But then they all got really good, and there's like dozens of manufacturers. There's not as many distinct different switches as there are, like, as you'd think from the numbers of colors and variations. There's only so many ways to put them together, but there's so many amazing switches out there. I like Kale Silent Islets. I will shout this from the rooftops. They're the most Topra-like MX switch I've ever used.
That's KAILH Silent.
KAI, yeah. I think it's like Kale Silent Pro Deep Sea Islet or whatever. Those are linears. They have a tactile called Whale that I don't like as much. But onto kits.
Yeah.
This one, I apologize. This one's partially naked. I took the keycaps off for something else. This is the Novel Keys Classic. Yeah, blurred. Novel Keys Classic TKL. It's another injection molded plastic kit. It's a 10 keyless, so a more
that one's lovely
classic form factor. It is $89. It comes in a bunch of colors. They even have glow in the dark ones that are really, really cool.
If you have blacklight in your office, that'll look dope, I bet.
It would. I don't.
Yeah.
But I feel like my blacklight years and my having a home office years were mutually exclusive.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. It's still time to change though, Nathan.
All right.
That's true. That's 80. That starts at $89, and then by the time you get switches and keycaps, it can be anywhere from like 150 to, I don't know, 280, $300, depending on how fancy you get with the keycaps and stuff.
And then when you're buying keycaps, are you buying the keycaps specifically for the keyboard that you buy? Like I usually just buy a keyboard and caps at the same time and then don't ever change them because I'm boring.
That's a smart thing to do, Will.
Okay.
I think that my problem is that I have brainworms.
Okay. I've known this for a long time, Nathan.
I have keyboard brainworms where I'll be like, oh, that's really pretty. And I won't think about, do I have a keyboard that goes with?
Oh.
Or do I have keycaps that goes with? I'll be like, oh, I must have those keycaps because they look like this, like, these old beautiful keycaps from the 80s. Or I must have those because they're just brightly colored. I have a hack in my brain where if I see fluorescent orange, I get happy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, I need that.
Explains why you love the GameCube so much.
What actually was slightly the wrong age for the GameCube.
Oh, well, never mind then. Jeez.
It was a good riff though. Sorry, I shot you down.
Wow.
Nice try.
And sir. No, rejected.
No. No way. No, yes, and
is there one of the things that I found frustrating? So I tend to buy a keyboard and then use it until it stops working, and then I start getting into keyboards again. I ask you a bunch of questions for like 3 months.
This is smart.
And then I don't think about it for a decade. But
that would be nice.
Is there a site that has like definitions, for lack of like if I want to know, hey, what length spacebar do I need for this keyboard? Is there a place that I can go to find the names of that kind of stuff, or is that just like hidden knowledge buried in message boards and discords and my ability to DM you and ask questions that are stupid?
Generally, the store page for the keyboard will tell you what kind of spacebar you want. There are a lot of different people have been like, oh, we're gonna make the ultimate website about mechanical keyboards, and then they do that for 6 months and then like, oh, this is a lot of work and it's not making us any money.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
So then you ask a friend, there's a subreddit for that, I guess, then probably.
There's a subreddit for that. It's r/mechanical keyboards. There's probably more. The other one that I wanted to shout out real quick is actually, Will, I think you might love this. This company called Keyboard Craft does these knockoff Lego.
Oh, wow.
So the case of the keyboard you build yourself out of these Lego compatible building bricks, let's say.
Oh,
that's crazy.
The whole thing, this is the first one they made. They now have ones with like number pads, and they have 10 keyless one that has 4 knobs. It looks really cool. I would buy one, but even I have like 8 keyboards and that many.
Yeah.
That's not single
digits.
digits.
That many computers.
That's nice. I mean, you swap them out like accessories.
Yeah, I mean, this is a disease. I don't recommend this lifestyle to anyone. And this is like on the low end of like keyboard nerds in the discords are going to be like, dilettante, 8 keyboards. Bah, I bought 3 this morning and I don't even know why.
So
because they're pretty.
We have like 2 minutes left. Can I ask one more question? What do you do about noise?
Oh, we got a bonus.
Ooh, bonus time. What do you do about noise? Like I put a cork mat. I have one of those desk mats that my keyboard's on. I'm on it's a steel case table, like tabletop is my desk. And I do a cork mat specifically so I could cut out a place for my wireless mouse charging thing, which is a whole different thing, but it then sits underneath the mouse mat, and then that gives me a nice amount of sound insulation. And you years ago recommended some silent boba switches that I can do light typing on while I'm on a mic and like look things up on the podcast. I don't have to then go back and edit out the typing, which is really my number one requirement for a keyboard. Yeah. Is there other new late breaking technology in the I want a good feeling mechanical keyboard that's also quiet world, or am I still at the top of the mountain on that?
They're still good. So the bobas are still good. Those kale eyelets that I mentioned, those are also silent. So I go because I'm at a desk all day, but I have a lot of calls. I go for silent, like quiet switches. I think often you can do a lot of damping inside the keyboard case itself. There's this tape mod. You basically put layers of masking tape on the back of your PCB. If you have a metal keyboard, what you can do, it's called a force break mod. It's just a fancy term for putting soft stuff in between the hard stuff.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot that you can do there. But also most conferencing software now has really good noise cancellation. So you can just type away. Now, when you're recording a podcast, maybe not so much. If you're just on calls and you're just doop 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 doop. That's how you talk. That's actually typing noise. Yeah, one of my keyboards just does that.
We're just Muppets over here, basically, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, exactly.
In the final moments here,
are
there any other kits you'd like to show us?
That's actually all the kits
Okay.
that I have on hand.
I was like, oh, I don't want to miss any.
But actually, what I wanted to.
You're still here. I think you bumped something. You seem fine now, though.
Oh no, there we go. Okay,
good.
Elena, I want to recommend for you
keyboard.news.
kbd.news.
Okay.
That's a keyboard builder's digest, if you will.
Digest.
That thing, there's just a lot of stuff on split, ergonomic, mostly handmade, open source keyboards that I think that you would really enjoy looking at.
I'm going to bring my Keyboardio in and let you borrow that for a little bit and destroy your life.
One of my buddies has a Keyboardio. It looks so cool.
So my biggest problem, honestly, right now with a lot of the Ergo keyboards that have been coming out, the split ones, the ones that can be tented, you have to find your own tenting kit, which is kind of not always enjoyable for me because a lot of ones I've found that are more affordable are like plastic, and I'm like, if I'm buying a metal keyboard, blah 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 blah, don't really want that mix of materials. But also, a lot of them are made for people who are very minimalist with how they want their keyboard layouts to be. I am definitely a 75% through like 10 keyless size person, and there's not quite as much in that space. Keychron got the closest for me with the Q11 because that was a split keyboard and that's a 75% keyboard if I remember right. But there was like no tenting.
I reviewed that. That's the. Wait, is that a split or is it the Alice layout?
No, it's not Alice.
The Q10 was the
Q11,
gotcha.
I think it was.
Q11.
I reviewed it for PCWorld myself as well. It was in the right direction. However, I had to stop using it because I found out I walk on a treadmill sometimes while I'm doing my writing and like email.
You have a lot of complicated requirements.
I'm just saying. I was shocking myself while that was happening, so I was like, "Oh, I got to go back to my plastic Gold Touch keyboard." So I stopped getting these. I'm like, ow, ow.
Wow.
Well, there we go.
Yep. On me.
Okay, yeah, this is a split. Okay, yeah, I see. So sort of like a split traditional layout. Keep.io has some of those. They've got their sync. It's much more of a build your own kit kind of thing. And that's actually where I got that tenting kit that I'll send you a link to.
Please do.
The MagSafe one.
That tenting kit sounds amazing. I might actually grab that for my Model 100 actually. Although it has a really nice
for typing. Such a difference.
Yeah.
Nathan, man, it's so good to see you. We'll have to have you back again sometime.
Please.
Yes, please.
I feel so bad that I didn't manage time well enough so that you could be around for some of the Q&A because I think that would be so fun to have you answering people's questions.
Well, I will be back. However, there will be 3 children in the house. Yeah. So we'll see.
We will be at lunch by the time you're back from the sword fighting lessons, I think, probably. But
could be. I see what you're saying.
Nathan, where can we find your work?
Well, my work is on theverge.com.
And what are you?
The website
there.
I'm the senior reviews editor, actually. So I do mostly review editing the reviews that other people are doing, but we do a lot of reviews of laptops, mobile stuff, wearables, smart home stuff, especially. Consumer goods,
computer stuff,
the
technology that people crave.
Stuff. That's right. The Verge. It's a website about technology and how it makes us feel.
Oh, well, I like feeling things and I like technology. So
I sometimes like feeling things. Sometimes I'm like,
you're a brave man.
Up and down.
You're a brave man. I prefer the technology part, not so much the feeling things.
When you get to a certain age, just feeling anything is novel at that point. So.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
You can also find me on Blue Sky at grackle.space.
Nathan,
that is a good Blue Sky domain, Nathan.
Thank you.
Nathan, I do have one quick question for you before you go. And this is what we ask all guests on the show.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Alien or Aliens? The show, the movie, the franchise.
Ooh.
Oh, you've broken him.
Alien.
Hey. Well, Adam will be happy about that.
This is why Gordon used to throw stuff at Nathan back in the day.
Because I haven't seen the second one.
Whoa. On that note,
well,
bombshell before you go.
Wow.
And on that bombshell.
Thanks, Nathan.
It's good seeing
Bye.
you.
Thank you so much. Good
Bye.
to see you. Bye.
Thank you. All right.
Wow. Chad is shocked.
Shook.
Shook all the way
Everybody
down.
is shook.
Should we do some questions? Should we answer
We
some
should
questions?
do some questions. I know.
mean-
This is what I told you, Willis. You were like, it should be a fast show, like maybe 90 minutes. And I'm like, will it be though? Will it?
Look, once the tangents started, we were doomed.
We were. I'm so sorry. I was so hoping to get Nathan here or keep him here for the Q&A part.
Look, we'll have to have him back. He got to plug some Verge stuff. You know, his corporate overlords over there have to be excited about sending people to the Norbauer feature, and yeah, his keyboard coverage has been really good over there. It's lovely to see somebody over there that's like into it and taking it seriously.
I mean, his coverage has always been very good, period, no matter where he's at. So
Nathan was, like I said, one of the 3 interns that survived our process, and
you're gonna
they brought him on full time. We brought him on full time. We liked him. Like, that's the highest praise. How many interns did we bring into the
congratulations,
into the fold?
you survived our abuse.
Yeah, you survived the abuse
Now
long enough to get a full-time job. It's okay.
Wait, were you in charge when this happened, or were you just
100%.
watching? Oh no.
Oh yeah, I was. Yeah, for 2005 to 2010.
Oh,
that's all. That's all on me.
You were the one behind.
Look, the intern abuse was worse before I was in charge.
I don't think that's a thing to be proud of.
No, I mean, I'm saying I made it better. I made it better.
I made a bad thing slightly less bad.
We didn't have the pit fights anymore. We had to kind of, they made us kind of
no. So
phase those out.
For everyone listening, I want to say when Will just said pit fights, I did not picture like gladiator ring. I literally pictured a ball pit because that would not have been out of the question for the future offices at the time.
Look, there was a McDonald's with a fun land right down the street, and we used to go down there. We'd take the interns, we'd grease them up, chuck them in the ball pit, and let them see who comes out alive. No, we were
alive because of potential suffocation, or alive because we don't know what children have left on those balls for disease.
Children, it was probably, you were lucky. No,
they were the children.
We had a lot of interns who went on to have wonderful careers in journalism. One of them founded the Wirecutter. One of them's we have a bunch of Verge editors and podcasters and people who their work, and it was a place where we took kids who were graduating with journalism degrees and were interested in technology and let them know whether they wanted to be technology, like work as a technology journalist, or go have real jobs someplace else. And
I don't think you can feed me this line of we abused them because we cared. Look,
almost all of them have done better than any of us did. So, you want your kids to do better than you, Elena. That's all I'm saying.
So what you're saying is tough love works.
Tough love works.
Tough love works,
yeah,
Will.
Exactly.
How many therapy bills did you cause?
Generational trauma right here, right now.
It's funny. I've actually talked to a bunch of former interns and former coworkers, but mostly a lot of interns, because we had a lot more. The turnover on editors was really low at that magazine. Like, we had people stayed for a long time when they came in there, but we had a lot of interns come in and out. And I talked to a bunch of them after Gordon passed, and just they shared stories and we were chatting. And it was nice to hear back from some of the people who I was thinking, oh God, I'm so sorry about the things that we made you all do as like part of your job. Nothing terrible. Nothing like actually abusive. Elena's making a face at me.
Look, all I can say is that Gordon is the person who brought me into the technology side of journalism, because technically before I was a video game journalist. Yeah. And I've only ever thought of him as somebody who's been very like open and welcoming, and because I wouldn't call it a cult, but Gordon definitely wanted everyone to join the
Team PC.
Team PC, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And it is weird that you come in and you're like, yeah, we hazed the crap out of everybody.
Well, no, but I mean, it was like the hazing was like, hey, we need you to clean the lab, right? And Adam actually did it here. Like he managed to wrangle Gordon under control, but we would send them in and be like, hey, here's a bench. I need you to take everything on here. You need to catalog everything. And like you need to tell us like how many of this we have and how many of that we have. And here's a bunch of air coolers and cases, and we need you to clean them out because they're all dusty.
That sounds normal. Will's face is looking at me like there's something else he's not saying. And the thing he's not saying is that he also has told me about the times he's thrown things at interns.
Well, no, but they were the thing is that the thing that got thrown, just to be clear, at one point I think Corsair just brought a whole bag of like stress ball pigs,
As one does.
They just sometimes stuff would show up in the office.
That's true.
And they sat between my desk and Gordon's desk. And when Nathan said something that was, not appropriate for a work environment, we just huck a pig at him.
Poor Nathan.
Perfectly normal.
Yes.
Perfectly normal
sure.
behavior.
100%.
Sometimes Catherine got hit. That wasn't as good. She sat next to Nathan because somebody needed to keep him in line.
The things Catherine has seen.
Yeah, Catherine's seen some stuff.
She's a seasoned veteran.
They're squeezy ball foam, like memory foam is what they were. They were soft and light. Nothing. You couldn't have done any damage. Even if it hit him in the open eye, he would have been fine. Open eye.
Do you want to be the first volunteer for that experiment?
I wear glasses, Elena, for a reason.
So
anyway, questions.
Q&A.
So, Willis,
Hey, yo.
a lot of times you will suggest some. Do you have any that you've been seeing from the chat?
So, just real quick for folks, if you have any questions for us, feel free to at us now at the Full Nerd Network, not the podcast anymore, the Full Nerd Network.
When did that happen?
That was just very recent, early this week.
People noticed.
Something's happening.
Something's brewing.
And people noticed in Discord and mentioned it immediately. And Adam was very...
Is he coy?
A little bit.
A little coy. So I'll leave that job to Adam to come back in and explain. But for now, you have any questions in the live chat right now, please add us as the Full Nerd Network. And then we also have Discord where we will answer answer your Q&As when we are able to get to it. So yeah. Let's see. I guess the first question, one in the chat earlier, a friend of the show, Tech Kev, asked, why do most keyboards with swappable keys have no keypads? Where do you get them, especially that they need one themselves? Kind of like, Will, you got...
like a 10 keyless?
Yeah. So, I mean, you also got like a Willis 2.0. Where did you get the Willis 2.0 keypad?
I'm going to go grab Willis 2.0.
Yeah.
Wait, why do we call this Willis 2.0?
I'll let Will come back and explain that, which is... that was probably when the time I was on vacation and I wasn't there to remotely produce, or I was here to produce, so Will found a solution.
Life finds a way, Elena.
Life finds a way.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So this is just a standard 8-bit DOE 10 keyless.
Not 10 key.
This is the 10 key.
This is the 10 key.
Yeah.
This is the 10
This is the 10 keypad.
So I'm a 10 keyless person. I can't. I use my F keys a lot, so I don't actually go smaller than a TKL usually. Yes. Hi. You made a face.
For a second you said smaller, but I heard it as swallow, and I was like, wait a second, hold on, what? I misheard.
But so the thing is, as a business person who has to deal with accountants for several months a year, I end up doing a lot of numpad work. And so the TKL is bad for that. So I spent $50 on a mechanical numpad. I actually have one of these too. But the one I have is a little bit older. It's just a Bluetooth numpad, shows up as a second keyboard on the system. And the nice thing is, like Nathan said, you can put it on the left side, you can put it on the right side, whatever. Whichever fingers you know how to do the numpad typing with, you can use, and it's fabulous. And then for the blessed 6 months a year when I don't have to deal with accountants, it goes back in a drawer and I don't think about it. And it's my, like, when I see it come out, I get a little depressed and like.
Oh, so this is like Hades and Persephone.
Yeah, kind of. This is my Sisyphus, basically.
Yeah, you're in the underworld.
Yeah, exactly.
6 months of the year.
So yeah, I highly, it's great to get the numpad off of your keyboard, because then, like Nathan alluded to, you're not doing weird wrist business to reach all the way over to your mouse pad. Yeah, it's like a bad angle for a whole host of reasons. And you can do things like, I used to have a Velcro strap that I would put this on and put it on my knee.
What?
So that when I was sitting on the couch, I could just be typing in my numbers.
So for audio listeners, Will literally took the numpad and put it on his thigh to like illustrate this concept.
It's wireless. It's for the kids. Wireless. Anyway. Highly recommend a 10 TKL or a smaller even.
So what size keyboard are you rocking right now?
So I'm a 10 keyless, which is I think 85%. Is that right?
I don't go by the numbers. I just know, does it have the function keys, but not the side stuff? Then it's 75%. If it has the side stuff, then it's 10 keyless, and those are basically the two.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch of weird ones that get smaller and smaller.
I can't do dedicated function keys. Yeah, it annoys me too much.
It's funny. I used to use the dedicated function keys for changing seats in cars in PUBG. And because I'd had one bound to each seat.
You know what?
Efficiency. Yeah, exactly.
Efficiency.
I'm at TKL, so I have the full insert home, page up, scroll lock, and the arrows and the F keys. Yeah.
I do some editing work. It's the nature of writing too, right? So I cannot live without having home and page up, page down, arrow keys. Very accessible.
I'm kind of thinking about Nathan's thing about rebinding the control key to be where caps lock is, because I do a lot of control forward and back to page to scroll through sentences, and that seems like it'd be real nice because then I wouldn't have to stretch down to reach it. But anyway,
so cap lock, where would cap lock be?
You don't need
cap lock. Is what you're
rip the cap lock. Like caps lock and insert are the two keys that should just be yeeted from our keyboard layouts because all they do is
sometimes
crimes.
I like to scream at people.
Well, yeah, but you can just look. You just have to hold down the shift key.
No, but that's a lot of work.
No.
So you just need to just set
That's
cap lock.
unnecessary stress on my pinky.
Double tap shift.
Sometimes you just need to be able to let your emotions out, and that's what the caps lock
I never let
keys.
my emotions out. My emotions stay inside where they're safe.
You said you like to feel things.
Yeah, but doesn't mean I have to share it with anybody else.
Have a security question for you, Elena, here.
Okay.
From friend of the show, Deiris. Ask, Elena is covering security for PCWorld. Then shouldn't Adam Patrick Murray plugging in random USBs and USBs into the company server be your problem and not my problem?
No, because I'm not part of our company IT team. That's definitely a problem for them, though.
That'll be for an IT problem. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you we had this talk before. You didn't discourage Adam. Was like, hey, you should not be.
Oh, I absolutely have said this before,
Yeah.
but sometimes you realize that some people just won't hear the advice you give them, and you realize that the ultimate consequences of that are outside of your jurisdiction. So you live and let live.
Yeah, I'm still working on that floor candy here. So yeah,
You know what?
I
You're
get
fighting the good fight, sir.
I get it.
Fighting the good fight.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So one from friend of the show, Sneaky, asks, should Steam roll out a Game Pass-like service? Will it be feasible?
No. Game Pass is really super bad for games. That's my hot take for today.
Okay. Why?
Because, okay.
I'm just doing this so he goes on, right?
Yeah. Okay.
There you go,
So we already have a problem on Steam where games are pretty dramatically devalued, right? There's a widespread perception right now that between $10 and $60, it's a death zone for games. Look at the number of games that came out last year that actually sold meaningful numbers between $20 and $40. And it's like 3 releases, like PoE 2, Helldivers was the year before, but it was a pretty big success at that price range. Right now, it's really hard to build a multiplayer audience at anything less than $10. You see, Peak came out at $8, was immediately discounted to $5, and they sold 5 million copies. If they had released that game at $29, even though it has an enormous amount of value, they would have been completely hosed. So when you add to the fact that Microsoft's deals for Game Pass are getting worse and worse every year, so they're offering first run deals. It used to be that a first run deal would be equivalent to a minimum guarantee on another platform. And they're not, the deals have not kept that pace. So you're seeing it as this will cover porting to Xbox. The game sales on Xbox have decreased dramatically since the Game Pass thing launched, obviously.
Yes.
Which makes a ton of sense. So Game Pass is fantastic for Microsoft. It's really good for gamers. It is actually terrible for the people who make games. And honestly, there was a thing a couple weeks ago that came out and they were talking about how Microsoft doesn't count the cost of first-party developed games in their revenue for Game Pass. So they don't count the cost of games that Bethesda and id and all the studios that they own, Bungie or not Bungie, 343, as expense for Game Pass. They count those as expense for those studios.
Okay.
And then they don't count them for Game Pass. That doesn't count toward Game Pass. So Game Pass is basically saying, okay, you guys are going to spend $100 million developing a game that we then are going to make a bunch of subscription money on because we launch these games day and date. It's a horrible business model for the people who make games, which means we're going to have a lot fewer people making games. If we continue
we are
going
seeing
down this
that.
thing. Yes.
We are seeing quite a few reductions and shutterings.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Well, but it's and the thing is, when you look at the way people use Game Pass, there are a handful of people who use Game Pass really aggressively and get a lot of value out of it. Mm-hmm. But mostly people just use it as oh, wow, I have all these games that I never play on top of the pile of other games that I don't play. Yeah.
Why you gotta call me out like that for, Will?
Look, I'm literally, I did the same thing. I got to the end of my Game Pass subscription last year and was like, oh, when was the last time I opened a Game Pass game? It's been 9 months, and it was my Minecraft Bedrock, which I never actually bought a copy of. So I just bought a copy of Minecraft Bedrock and then canceled my Game Pass, and I ended up $100 for the year. And like, it's fine. It's fine. I have no beef with anybody who takes advantage of Microsoft funding Game Pass, right? If Microsoft wants to lose money on their product and completely devalue their first party games, that's fine. Really bums me out when we see them like shutter studios like what Tango Softworks, the people who make what was it? Oh God, it's the game. It's like this. It's like a Jet Set Radio type game. Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush. That was a good game.
Yeah, and they shut down that studio when it had their game had really good sales. They had incredible Game Pass uptake. People were playing the game, and they shut it down because they didn't make as much money as they should have, because 90% of their players were on Game Pass and they saw no revenue from that, right? Because it's first party studio. And like anyway, it's a subscriptions. If you want to use a subscription service as a way to like continue getting value out of old titles that aren't maybe seeing sales that they used to, that's great. But Steam does there's aggressive discounting culture on Steam. Games that came out 3 months ago, I was seeing at 50-70% off on the Steam sale last month. Like that's the discount culture on Steam. And I would much rather see Valve continue to encourage people to do deep discounts and do bundles and stuff like that than make a half-baked subscription product that only serves Valve.
So are you saying that a developer would still see more reliable income and revenue and stability from deep discounts than they would being part of a subscription? Because that's just not reliable enough?
It depends. Like to date, no one has shown a model for subscription that's going to generate meaningful revenue in the same way that sales do. Sales, if you have a game that, especially something that you're still updating, you push an update out right before the Steam sale and you do a meaningful discount, people see real motion. And like Microsoft's not making those deals. They're not signing that. Valve doesn't like losing money on anything. So they're not going to Valve's not going to loss lead a service in the same way that Microsoft did for 10 years. And, Valve also has the added benefit of not having a CEO that's saying, hey, we're going to be a services company now. Everybody's got to come up with a service. And, oh, by the way, we're going to plug this service on every Xbox that people have in their houses. And also every time you boot up Windows, it's going to be like, hey, man, you heard of this thing called Game Pass? It's only $16 a month. Yep. Wait, no, now it's $20 a month, but it's still real good. You're going to like it. And the money doesn't flow back downstream is the thing. So, yeah. Anyway.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right, a couple more, and let's get lunch after that.
Yep.
Let's see here. Friend of the show, Mercury S asks, Alina's tip of getting a year of Microsoft 365 at a discount. Any more details on when it is a good time for that? Even though this was like kind of during Prime Day, and Prime Day's over now, is there still like good deals for now to get 360?
So I have to actually revisit my strategy around this because they, I think semi-recently raised the price for Microsoft 365, aka formerly Office 365. So before it was $70 a year for a single seat as a personal license, and now it's $100. So it's gone up 30%.
Ooh.
Oh, not 30%. That's more than that, actually. Sorry.
Like 45.
Yeah. I don't math well.
But they added AI, right? That's going to be worth more money.
I know. So I've noticed that the deals themselves also aren't as good. My guess is that they kind of like with Game Pass and their other subscriptions, they're not going to be as aggressively discounting as they once were. So the previous times I would see deals would be a little bit around, the Prime Day window, so in July, and then oftentimes during Black Friday. Those are reliable times, but I also would see just randomly through the year here and there deals. I've seen a lot fewer of them this year. So I think that has a lot to do with the fact that they've raised prices. They're not really looking to as aggressively get people to subscribe so they stay subscribed.
How about during the holiday seasons?
That's what I mean. So during Black Friday is probably going to be your best bet if you can wait that long. But my recommendation to everybody, when you know you have a subscription or a service that you are for sure part of, sign up for a Slick Deals account. Make sure you have like a bunch of ad blockers and tracking blockers because their sites are quite aggressive with that. And then just set deal alerts. So set a deal alert for Microsoft 365 as a keyword term, and then make sure it's like set to at least like 1 thumbs up so you don't get a bunch of, garbage, not really actual deal alerts. Have it sent to you the best way you like, either through the app or through an email notification, push notification through the website, whatever works for you. And then just sit back and wait and see what comes through. Like a couple of my best deals came because like there was an Ant Online deal and it was like $20 for Microsoft Personal. But the thing is that, at least at the time, and I think still now, you can redeem a Microsoft 365 Personal code for family just at a prorated rate. So you get like, I think
9 months
it's
or
like
something?
9 months
Yeah.
for 12, but even still $20 for 9 months of family is an incredibly good price. So you just buy enough cards to max out your subscription, because you can only do up to 5 years for 365. It's 3 years for Xbox Game Pass. It's 5 years for Microsoft 365. And the thing is that the codes don't expire. So you actually can just buy a bunch, hold on to them, and as your time starts opening back up, you just keep topping it up. That's another strategy if you're diligent about that kind of thing. My recommendation is to do that, and you end up buying physical cards, take pictures of them, or take pictures of them just in case you transcode them or write them down erroneously.
Oh.
So take pictures of them, save them, the information in a spreadsheet or whatever, and then just as time passes, just top up your stuff when you see a good deal, if you know you're going to stay on it. And that's kind of the tricky part about it, right? That once you sign up for Dropbox, once you sign up for Microsoft 365, once you sign up for Google or iCloud or whatever, they've got you because you have all your files on there, and it's really a pain in the butt to download everything and move it to a different service.
Yeah.
So if you know you're kind of stuck, just have deal alerts. See if you can find deals. Like I've most commonly seen them for Microsoft 365, sometimes for Switch family online subscriptions on occasion.
Often you'll see deals like Target will do deals on
those.
Switch like money cards.
And that too, yeah.
For like $5 or $10 off depending on the denomination. And those are usually the percentage is lower, the percentage savings is lower, but it's still
something.
10% off of something that usually doesn't get
something.
a discount. Yeah.
Especially if you're buying physical, right? Because I think digital purchases, depending on your state, they don't charge sales tax. So if you buy a physical copy of a game, they will. So if you get a 5% discount on these gift cards, then you're kind of saving a little bit on sales tax. If you like min-maxing and you like doing it for deals, this is your time. This is your time to shine. Yeah. That's a long answer.
There you go. All right, one more, and then we'll get out of here. From the show, Liquid R, how big is your game library across all platforms, and what is your ratio of unplayed games versus played? I'm going to ask Adam and Brad that next week as well, but just get your take on this, you guys.
I mean, I'm in a weird situation because I get a lot of codes for stuff because I play a lot of games for work.
Let's see. What's your library size?
I don't know. I don't know that I can see that easily the way I have my stuff set up.
Oh, interesting.
Hold on. I have collections.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. It's probably 15, 20,000, 10,000. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Would you say out of 10 games you have?
1,976 on Steam.
Wow.
Stuff I can sort by recency and scroll back to 2015.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean it's weird because like a lot of times somebody will be like, hey, we would like you to come take a look at our game. And then they send me a code and I play their game and I send them feedback and write a report for them. And then they write me a check. And like, that's the entirety of my thing.
Maybe the more fair answer is, what is the size of your actual personal backlog playlist?
I don't have any idea, man. It's like, that's
you only play Fortnite is the answer.
He only plays Fortnite.
Look, I have
PUBG.
Maybe PUBG.
No, I don't play PUBG anymore.
Oh.
I have the IKEA VR experience in here because I know the people who made that. Yeah, right?
Who doesn't?
Yeah, we love the IKEA VR experience. Right now I'm playing Kaizen, a factory story, which is from the Zachtronics folks. And it's about running an electronics factory in Japan in the 80s. You're like a guy from Indiana or something, and you have to learn how to make toy robots with
that's what the
little
reference
robot
is
arms.
to, the whole system of like having that really efficient factory. Oh my goodness.
It's incredible. It's really, really good. But
I love the comments right now in response to your number of Steam games. Lewis Law, friend of the show, Lewis Law says Fortnite isn't even on Steam.
Well, I only have like
real talk.
Look, do you want to know what my epic backlog looks like?
Why don't you get that up while I read a couple more comments, or at least one more?
People are going to yell at me.
New friend of the show, Noenkin, said, I buy way too many Steam sales, or way too many games on Steam sales during Steam sales, and I have a quarter of Will has.
Only a dent.
But also, my Steam account started when Steam started, right? So this is where I've been playing games for 20 years almost. I've seen nothing. Select the animal that has these feet shown in the example. Are you freaking kidding me?
So this is really funny. It's a picture of, I think, chicken legs, and you have to match it, but underneath are just nothing but crabs.
It's crabs and monkeys.
Crabs.
There's a chicken.
Amazing.
This is the worst captcha I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and then there's more security stuff. So I guess I got to stall for time. I will answer.
What about
I'll
you,
answer about mine. I actually have not that many acquired games in my backlog now because I gave up on trying to keep up with Epic, giveaways, and I also have done a poor job of downloading my free games through Game Pass Ultimate that I have access to. I used to be really good about it.
It's too much.
It's a lot. And these days, similar to Will, I've been only playing Overwatch. Not well, but I've been only playing Overwatch for the last 2 years. I am so behind in games I actually want to play. And I even told my friends, I said to them, after this battle pass, I'm taking a break. Like I need to finally play a single player game and get through something on my backlog because now I have the teeny tiny, I will actually get to play these games top part of my backlog, and then they have the slightly larger section underneath that's like games I do want to get to, but if I keep playing Overwatch, probably not. And then there's other ones where I'm I've heard good things about it and everybody has said I should play them, so I guess they go in there. And then after that is just everything else, games that I started and never finished, games that I bought in 2012 that I have been meaning to get to for, I don't count that amount of time. These little indie games that people have recommended that I think are great. These other indie games that I like from their looks and they seem cute and they've got great reviews and I want to get to. I've played none of it because I keep trying to get better at Overwatch and I'm terrible.
You just gotta keep playing that Overwatch. You gotta team up. Do you team up with random people or friends to play?
I just play unranked because I do not enjoy the vibes in comp games.
You don't want people yelling at you?
Dude, I was playing unranked 5v5 the other day and guy gets on the text chat and he's like, I can't believe these animals I have to play with. Tank thinks they're DPS and this Moira got out healed by Lucio and we're in stadium. Freaking stadium. I don't even understand this mode. This is why I'm bad at video games now, where I'm like, why is this so complicated? I just want to shoot people or spray people. It's just very simple. That's all I want from my video games. And stadium is here's your build, customize this, add these perks. And my friends love this. So I'm I like my friends. I'm hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
And I tell my friend this. I'm like, he's not wrong. Typically, a Lucio shouldn't be out healing a Moira. He's like, but not in stadium. Lucio just
never stadium. Clearly.
And I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't even know how I'm supposed to play this thing. I'm just playing for vibes, man.
Yeah. Well, if you want to play for vibes, you got to play a DPS. That's. I
guess this wasn't unranked. I'm confusing two stories. There was another unranked 5v5 where people got mad, but this is the stadium story. Sorry, it's lunchtime. I'm hungry.
So I play. They put Beavis and Butthead in Call of Duty, continuing the greatest hits of the '90s coming into Call of Duty these days. and I couldn't not bite on that. So I played some Call of Duty to unlock Butthead, and there was a guy in the game the other day that was like fully field marshaling the entire team. He was like, "Yo, somebody's got to cover. Somebody's got to cover the lines.
Someone's got a shot call.
Somebody's got to cover the line. Somebody's got to get on B. Why are we pushing B? We got push B. Push B. Push. Somebody cover C." And like, I was kind of annoyed, but we totally romped the other team. So it turns out having somebody tell everybody what to do may be useful.
Here's the thing: a shot caller is a really helpful thing when everybody is on voice comms and not going to start making comments about other people unnecessarily. Like, no personal comments. We are here to achieve a goal, and that's really satisfying.
This
Like,
guy was good.
That's the best part about team-based games, where you come together for the sole purpose as a team to destroy other people's sense of self-esteem. Like, that's great.
And I'm pretty sure that guy was doing bong rips in between the shot calling too. So like,
You know what?
you recognize game there. I guess.
Know what? I will say there is something really also very amusing about where you can tell people are like just they've had their joint for the night. They're just
super high guy.
Just super high, but they're just living their best lives. And you know what? I'm okay with that too.
Yeah.
So Will, what's your epic?
I can't find the list because I can't install. I don't have the client installed on Linux, but it's like I hit the free button in Epic a lot. I forgot that I did that. It happens.
I love that a friend of the show, Davina Duckworth, has said that they have Saints Row the Third as well in their backlog. That actually is the game I was
all-time banger.
Dude, that was the game I was actually thinking of when I said that I have a game from 2012, 2013 that I've been meaning to get back to.
Have you ever played it?
I've played it. I have a very specific weapon that is my favorite to use in that game that I cannot mention on this podcast.
I was going to say, is it a big purple club, Elena?
It's not a glove.
Oh, club.
A club.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It may very well be.
Little jiggle physics on it. I remember that.
Dude, do you remember when Games Radar got a replica of that? Oh, you were gone by then.
Oh, they sent us one at Giant Bomb. Giant Bomb got one. And I was sitting at my desk and I just looked over to my left. I was like, well, that's an HR violation. It was like a 6 foot long.
No, we gotta stop. We can't.
6 feet.
No, we can't.
And it's purple.
We can't describe
it's purple
this
on a big long stick. I'm just saying.
Describe it on this show.
You're just wobbling around.
Like the inflatable man.
No, it wasn't inflatable
we'll
at all,
talk about
Willis.
this at some other point, perhaps when HR is not a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Davina,
Davina, we can't show.
I'm going to show that.
Oh, you're going to show that?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll show
cool.
it. It's an eggplant. What does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. It's sometimes an eggplant's just an eggplant, Elena.
Aubergine.
Yeah, Saints Row the Third though, really good. It has
good.
the vocoder guy.
It's just
Yeah.
All right, well, that's time for lunch. That's a close time for lunch.
Willis, why don't you tell us about your backlog?
Yeah, what's
and then
your
we can
backlog
get out of
like?
here.
Just one.
Share your shame.
One too many. I used to be really good at keeping a log-ish, like just I'll play one game, I'll finish it and move on to the next. But I don't buy a whole lot, right? So since working here at PCWorld and then just getting PC games and all that, thank you, Adam, for spoiling me from time to time. But even with like free Epic games, I'll download a whole bunch. So it has gone from like maybe a library of up to 100, and then I'll play like maybe a quarter, and that's it. So the library just keeps growing, but the game is just really slow to go through.
Yeah.
The thing I find is I really respect a game that respects my time these days. I say that knowing that I put thousands of hours into battle royale games, but like in terms of single player stuff, like this Kaizen game is a great example. A Little Kitty Big City is a great example. It's like a 10-hour game if you suck the marrow out of that thing, do everything you can, and it's a consistently delightful experience all the way through, right? Like it's just making me smile and be happy. Games like Human Fall Flat are a great example of things that are really fun. Like you have these mazes that you have to traverse, and you can play it with your friends, and you do goofy stuff, and it's silly and fun. And I'm a big fan. Games are good.
Games are fun.
Yep. Hate to cut this quote unquote short.
Yeah, on that note.
On that note,
Short.
it is time for us to get out of here and have some lunch. And being the very seasoned fill-in host that I am, I don't actually have all the list of things that we need to check out. So I'm going to try to wing it, and maybe Will will help me.
Hey, you know what people should do is leave a review on iTunes.
Well, that part I do know.
That's
I will
great.
say, definitely check back next week. Oh, we forgot to announce this at the beginning of the show. I don't know if anyone who's didn't stay to the end will find this out, but we are doing a Hardware Hall of Fame episode next week. That is the plan, at least. When Adam comes back. I am a terrible fill-in host, Adam. I am sorry.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so if you're new to the show, we used to do this award show every year, starting maybe like in 2018, 2019, and we would nominate 3 pieces of hardware to this Hall of Fame that we thought deserved recognition for some meaningful contribution to technology.
Important, not notorious, I think is one of the watchwords.
And so when we first started, there were no rules. There was open-ended, and I
bet it was
somebody
experience.
who may be sitting in this chair and talking to you at this very second, maybe the reason why we have some modifiers on this now. And one of them is that we nominate things that are famous or important, but not necessarily notorious.
So like the IBM Death Star 75 GXP, probably not on the list.
Look, let's just put it this way. The whole reason that this started or this became about was because I tried nominating Atom processors.
I mean,
they were notable.
I'd have a conversation about Atom processor.
Thank you. See, somebody understands me, Gordon, not. Anyway, so there's some of those. We also started trying to get things that have more history behind them, as in like they're no longer in commission, to try to get some of these, like, I wouldn't say old timers, but these like vaunted pieces of technology in there, as opposed to me who's like, you know what's really great? It's really revolutionary? Raspberry Pi. I'm not wrong. It made it in.
Yeah.
But there was another reason why. That's another thing that I got put in there into the rule. So anyway, the most recent version that we did of this, or the last show we had, was in 2022.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. So we're finally bringing it back. And I may be encouraging everybody, because it's an award show, to dress up, because that's what you do when products are being
nominated.
Give
an award?
Yeah, give an award to them.
It's a serious award for serious products?
Yeah, it's an honor. It's a formal event. It's something monumental. So this is different from our annual wrap-up in December, where we talk about the best hardware of the year. That's not necessarily that we're awarding them anything. It's just that we're kind of...
So, like, important for the PC, does that include, like, peripherals? Like, could you include, like, a Model M mechanical keyboard?
I believe that's in there already.
What about an iPod?
Is that really PC?
I mean, it has a USB port. Firewire is all PC connector.
I think we're about to learn that I am not the one we should be making rules for.
Oh, no.
Anyway.
The best rules happen because you made somebody make a new rule. Yeah.
Wall garden for Will here.
Just saying. So anyway, check back next week. I'm not sure if we'll do it at the Full Nerd time. We're still working some stuff out. Adam will settle that once he gets back from vacation, but check back next week. That is the plan. We do actually solicit nominations from readers, because it may get championed by one or more of us. So we have a thread in our Discord server right now for that. So go ahead and check that out. If you have some nominations of your own, go ahead and drop them in there.
It's in the Full Nerd suggestions.
It's in the forums.
The forums.
Under our forums. So I started a new forum thread for that.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm. So also, if you haven't been to our Discord server before, come and join us. Very chill group. We love to talk. The best compliment we got this last week was the conversations move slow enough that you can keep up with them even if you don't check in every day, which is pretty true.
It's very collegial.
Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah. I like it there.
The Linux channel's popping off, though.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yes. Didn't realize there was so much pent-up demand for it. So check back next week for that. For audio listeners, if you'd like to tune into the show, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Is that what it's called
Apple
these
Podcasts
days?
Podcasts is what they call it now.
Was it
YouTube Music?
YouTube Music.
Yeah.
Deezer, thanks to one Will Smith sitting next
always
to
on
me.
Deezer. iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio. I believe, was it Pocket Cast?
Pocket Cast, Downcast, Overcast.
Your favorite RSS reader, I believe. We have an RSS feed.
Podcatcher.
Definitely go ahead and check us out there. If you can, leave us a review. Every time you do, somebody asks which one of us is keeping Adam from either plugging in a USB key into a random computer or eating candy off a floor.
Yes.
I'm going to need another takoyaki ball, too.
Or Will does that.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then final plug, because we all know you are here for this section to listen to the plugs, is while you're at it, sign up for the Full Nerd newsletter.
Oh, yeah.
This is something that I do once a week where I talk about something related to the episode we've done that week, either a riff related to it or maybe even directly related to some of the topics we've talked about. I also have a quick summary of the episode in case you just want to kind of get a feel for the vibes that week. And there is a bunch of links at the end that I've curated, things that I found interesting to read during the week that I think you all will be interested in too. So if you'd like to sign up for that, you can go to PCWorld.com/newsletters/sign up.
Right there on the screen.
It's right on the screen here if you are watching the show. And you can go ahead and sign up for any of our newsletters. So there's the Full Nerd on there. And as well, I actually really like my colleague Dom's Try This newsletter, because twice a week you get one little quick tip that I've actually learned a couple of things from already. More than a couple things, honestly, but I'm a little embarrassed to admit that.
I liked your article last week.
Oh, thank you.
The summer doldrums topic of, hey, is PC hardware boring?
Yeah.
We're kind of in that time.
Yeah, we're in that time.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll be more exciting now that we'll have something to like fight about next week.
This is when you got to do something really
Discuss.
stupid. You got to do something really stupid to cause yourself a bunch of extra work that's going to make it exciting again. Like I moved my daughter's PC into smaller form factor this weekend, and I made a whole bunch of work for myself, and it was really exciting for like 2 hours while she was like, "Hey, Dad, did you break my computer?" I was like, "No, it's cool. I built a lot of computers. You're good." And then she's like, "But it looks like it's not working." And I was like, "No, it's just acting like it's not. It's just sleeping right now. We're gonna get it better. We're gonna make it better real soon. Don't worry. It's gonna be fine.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's gonna come back." And then it came back, and everything was cool, and I stopped sweating.
It's just sleeping. You go watch a movie for a little bit. I'll be able to take care of this.
Sometimes when SATA cables love each other very much, they break one off, and you have to do some real surgery, but it works.
Is this the kind of thing that you talk about in your newsletter?
Sometimes I talk about it on the Tech Pod. My newsletter is a little bit of a brief hiatus because real life has gotten incredibly busy over the last couple of weeks.
I was wondering if my spam filter was eating it.
No, I just haven't done one in 2 weeks. So I have one that's like 2/3 of the way done, and it's been sitting there in my outbox ready to go, and I just haven't pressed the button yet.
Where can they find this for sign up?
That's at next.content.town, part of the Content Town network of websites.
All right, then.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out with us on the show. Nathan's not here anymore, but thanks to Nathan for hanging out with us and doing
Thanks,
a little
Elena. It's good to be here.
doing a little future reunion. Oh man, the pre-show was great, or before the show started was great. We were like all this reminiscing, all the stories I had never really heard.
Poor Nathan. We made him sing one time, and when we made him sing, we did a musical episode for the 100th episode of the No BS podcast, and we made him sing.
Was this because Buffy was doing its musical episode?
Look, I don't want to talk about that. The point is, we had a really good musical episode, and then we gave him the wrong backing track when he recorded, so it was a different key.
No.
And we didn't realize it until it was too late, and we had promised a date and a time to push it out, and like there was a whole thing behind it, so it had to go. And anyway. Yeah.
Well,
mistakes were made.
Thank you, Will Smith, for joining me and not doing
Elena.
that to me.
No more musical podcasts. I learned my lesson the first time.
Did you?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm never doing that again. It was a disaster. It was so much work, and like people were really upset about it. They didn't get that it was a joke at all. The nerds were unhappy, Elena. You might. This may shock you, but they may have said things like, "Wow, there's a good reason that these people don't sing professionally," and anyway, yeah. No, nerds.
People say things like that on the internet? I would have never
People said mean things on the
thought.
internet. It's shocking. I know.
Never thought.
They liked Veronica Belmont's song at the end. She sang a Portal,
she's
the
pretty
Jonathan
great.
Colton Portal song
great.
about the PC. That was pretty good. But anyway.
Willis is like, please let me go to lunch. So Willis, please take us out of here.
All right. Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Nathan, as well. I still want to petition for a karaoke podcast, if anything.
No, nobody wants to hear me sing, Willis.
Extreme no, Willis.
I don't want to hear myself sing.
Okay, food podcast and one of
Yes.
one of
Food
these
podcast.
days.
Yes, we'll do that.
Well, I do a mukbang. We'll just go
There you
hit a
go.
different Korean barbecue
There
every
you
week,
go.
and
Yeah.
We need to do the second round of our dim sum tour.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, we should. So hopefully, with the full network, we might have a multiverse or multi podcast one of these days. Who knows? Who knows?
Oh,
Who knows?
is that a spoiler?
Who knows?
So
Who knows? But anyways, thank you everyone for tuning in. We will see you next time. Bye.
I'm glad no one can see us chair dancing either.
wait, they don't see us chair dancing? Oh, right, they don't.